spring, like nothing.
Dealing with a car this old, things ain't where they should be originally.
You know, Rat Rod, there's nothing specific how to do anything on it.
That boy's on the ground.
This is a real nice 75 square body with a real long bed.
I got a little problem. This tire's rubbing.
All we have to do is put a wishbone in place.
This is going to look a lot cleaner, and it's done right.
Oh, no!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
The core of Extensive is come into Extensive, have some sort of suspension work. You know, that's any custom car, you're going to have suspension work. It's the foundation of any vehicle. That's what Extensive is built upon. You know, suspensions to me were, you know, using the trade that my dad passed down to me, just using those skills to create something cool, to modify a vehicle, lower to the ground, but that little trick of maintaining ride quality and handling is not just anybody can do that. Whether it's lifted, lowered, off-roading, car shows, or really all of the above, we build every suspension specific to the customer's needs. I mean, every day you get up, you come to work here, it's something different thrown at you. And you learn to adapt, you learn to evolve, and every job that comes in, we progress and get better and better and better, and just keep pushing those boundaries. And this morning, I'm giving a vehicle back that's the perfect example for what we do. It's a 1928 Rat Rod that was in bad need of a modern suspension setup.
What's happening, man?
Morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
How's it going?
Man, I'm good. Today's going to be a real good day for one of the two of us.
Hopefully me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, a Rat Rod isn't something we normally work on, but it's really cool to get it in, to really focus on.
That's the reason why I brought it to you. I wanted something one-off. I wanted something really cool, and I wanted something that was over the top.
Man, you got it, man. You know, Rat Rods are kind of the Mad Max of vehicles. They're purposely made to look rough around the edges. But when put to the test, these things get after it. You know, that's what's real cool about working on your car. You know, Rat Rod, there's nothing specific how to do anything on it. So to let the creativity flow, build something real cool and unique, I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah, the car's already a one-of-a-kind build, and I definitely can't wait to see what you've done to it.
Yeah, one-off build for you. It's a one-off build for us also.
Perfect.
Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
Come on, Lulu. Check that out.
That's it right there.
Right. Drop it down, Lulu.
Man, that boy's on the ground.
That's right, man. It's sitting flat on the ground.
Man, hell yeah, I'm loving it, man. Man, when that thing hit the ground, I was excited. Man, I was pumped.
The car looked really cool. It was already unique, but we had to put it over the top. First thing we had to do was get in the shop, get it all tore apart, get those old leaf springs out of here, and just start fresh. You know, we could have just put some bags on the front, a couple of brackets, and sent it on its way, but as unique as this vehicle is, I wanted to come up with something that just grabs your attention. I came up with a cantilever system just to put it over the top.
You did everything that I was wanting, plus more. Man, that cantilever system is just, man,
It's pretty cool, huh?
Man, just doing the geometry just to get that to function is the reason why I brought it here. Man, that cantilever front suspension, it was state of the art. It also matched the old school look of the car. I really like that. It's different.
You know, in the rear, too, we just took off all those springs and everything and put a tooling suspension on it with a bag on that. So the ride quality's there, the handling's there. It's probably the only thing comfortable of driving this is going to be the suspension now.
Well, that was the whole reason why I brought it to Extensive, is because I wanted the suspension to be one-off, and I wanted it to be a very comfortable ride. And I bought it to drive. I didn't buy it to sit in the garage. I bought it to drive.
Hell yeah. And of course, you know, we couldn't paint it a especially in, Houston, the humidity that we have here, let the atmosphere do its thing, and just the rust just took over, and it just blends everything in.
That's
looks like
perfect.
it's been there for 100 years.
The craftsmanship and the work that you do.
Man, I appreciate it, man.
Man, Bill, thank you very much for the work, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'll see
got
you
it.
around.
You got it.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, one more job well done for us, one more out the door, but it's time for me to get back to work because we got many, many, many more to go.
Project.
Ren, I usually don't talk about your record driving skills, but a couple parts fell off on the way here.
Not this time. It's ready for you. This is how we got it, just like this.
Whose is this?
Guy named Eddie. He's on the way. Good luck on this one, buddy.
We're out.
They're gonna leave me with this one, huh?
Yes, sir.
You got this, dude?
A project like this is pretty much on that line. Do you spend a ton of money, ton of time to make this a really cool truck, or chop it up, sell it for scrap? Because Ford was busy making things for the war, not too many of these 42s were ever made. So, to this day, it's one of the...
Hey, Bill.
What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? Edward Wilcox.
Hey, nice to meet you. It's your truck?
Yes, sir. 1942 Ford pickup truck. My dream truck.
Oh, yeah, this is a dream come true for you?
Dream, man. I've been working on a lot of stuff, but this is the one I want.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. It's my baby right here.
So, why 42 Ford?
Well, the 42 is one of the rarest trucks. To me, it has a lot of class and style with it. It's the first one that had the flat nose in the front. I think is very unique, but it needs a lot of love and attention.
It does. I ain't gonna argue with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you see when this truck's all done? What do you see here?
I see something bad. I want a full custom job on this.
You want us to take this truck and just totally remake the whole truck over for you?
Yes, sir, but in parts. I'm gonna have to do a little at a time. I've been looking for this truck over 20 years, and it's been a long road for me to find it, and I finally found it.
Hey, I'm totally cool with that. A project like this can most definitely be overwhelming to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
How far do you want to take this?
Well, Bill, I would like to get everything underneath done first.
So just start out with the rolling chassis first, getting the foundation all set.
Yes.
It has a straight axle on the front.
Yeah.
Getting rid of that, put a Mustang 2 style front end.
Sounds good.
Disc brakes on it. A good rear end in it. 4-link on the back.
Yeah.
And are you wanting it adjustable at all, or just stationary?
I would like the static ride of it.
So no adjustability. You just want to.
Just something that I can just enjoy.
So just a static drop on it. So like coilovers on this would be ideal. Get that stance right. All you got to do is get in, start it up, and ride.
That's what I'm talking about.
No buttons, nothing to mess with. Just ready to roll. This truck has 80-year-old technology. So what we're going to do is just build a Mustang 2 style independent front suspension that's really popular in most hot rods. And a 4-link in the back with coilovers all the way around to give it a good ride and a really good stance.
And Bill, just to let you know, I have the engine and transmission, so I'll be bringing over to you a lot of parts.
That's even better. So what we can do is get the stance right, the ride right, get the engine, transmission in it. Get you a column in it so you can steer it. You can push it around and do whatever you want to do to be able to go on that next phase.
Sound like a winner.
Let's make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen.
This 42 Ford, it's in rough shape, but it's a dream truck to someone. With any dream, you got to start with the foundation. Like, you can't buy an old house and just put doors and windows in it when the floor is falling through. You got to start with the foundation. In this case, starting with a solid frame, brand new suspension. That is ground floor. That's where you start with. And then once you have all that established, you can build upon that. Then you can, get the body panels right, get the paint right, interior. That's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth stage. I'm glad this truck's been brought in here. We're going to get him hooked up, get him on the right track. If it's us that's going to finish the truck, or if he's going to take it and build it in stages all himself, this is where it's got to be started with. Ford on the lift. Right away you can see this truck has a big problem.
Appreciate you getting on up there, Timmy.
Hope you don't expect much.
It's just about to come tell you what we're going to do to this, and it just got added, right?
Put it right back in the ocean. That's where it looks like it came from.
Man, there is nothing left of this frame. Like nothing. This is his dream truck. He's been wanting an early 40s Ford for quite some time. Finally got it, but man, it's in rough shape, right?
Hopefully he got it cheap.
We're going to be building this in stages. So the first stage of this is we're going to build the front suspension, get rid of the illustrated axle. We're going to put a Mustang 2 style front end with coilovers, front and rear, 4-link for the back. Give it a really low stance, something that looks really good. We'll put brand new brakes on it, wheels, tires, and he has his engine trans that we're going to mount in here also. That with a column so he can steer it, he's good to go. That's his stopping point right now.
So you want to mess with this frame? You're going to call him and see if he can get another frame? Or we're going to build one?
We have to change the frame. There's nothing we can even do with this. It'd take more time and labor to try to repair this than it's worth.
So that's basically where you're at right now. You want to make a rolling chassis for stage 1, and then whenever he gets ready to do phase 2 and phase 3, if we do it or somebody else does it, all the suspension and the drivetrain's done.
Yeah, that'd be 100%. Okay. So one other thing, it's not leaving here with this. Go out of here looking like that. I'm gonna break that to him as soon as I get on the phone with him right now. Let's go ahead and get it all tore apart. Front end off, cab off, roll the whole thing out, and we'll get it going. All right, man.
That corner. No matter what the build is, it's always better to fix the chassis and suspension first. It saves a ton of time and heartbreak later. A lot of times people ask you how you like to get projects. When you do get them like this and the guy does want to do it in sections, it's kind of relief because a job like this would normally take at least a year, if not longer. So it's kind of nice to have something that comes in, leaves, and then we get a fresh start if he brings it back.
This is the easiest teardown ever.
Right?
Yeah.
Now you get the front end off and the cab off, you can really see how bad this frame is. It's all split here. It's all rusted through. This whole core support is just old and nasty. If you put any kind of power to it, you're going to wrinkle it up. Luckily, he found another frame for us to start with. So essentially, we're starting back from scratch with a new chassis, but a way better chassis. Sometimes we build our own chassis on a project like this. But to save a bunch of time, the owner sourced a used frame that's going to work perfect for what we're looking for.
This guy brought in another chassis?
We told him how bad the other chassis was, so he found this one. This one looks like it had a small block in it too. So take some of this out, but at least the front of the frame is all still there and it's not rusted all the way back like the other one was.
Yeah.
Let's get in there and bolt it up. Take some of this other stuff off and then we'll go from there. Because we're adding the LS with a lot more power, we're going to box it in to help support the frame, reinforce it, and then also give us a good platform. We're going to add our Mustang 2 front suspension to have a crossmember that comes down and comes back up. So that'll give it something really good, really solid to tie into, which will make it a lot stronger. And it'll also take some of the torque for the motor to keep this thing from twisting up in the front. I mean, you can see over the years how much it's not really consistent. I'm trying to straighten it up. But you can see right here, how much the frame will twist just back and forth. So that's why we're wanting to put a plate all the way down this side to here. And the same on this side. You have something that's a C, it wants to collapse the ends. You make it full boxed in, it's super strong. Basically what I want to do is want to line up this corner with this corner. corner, so it gives us this whole valley that the weld will fill in all the way down. It won't be standing up on top of the frame. It fills it in, and it's a nice looking weld. Now the bottom one I'll raise up 3/16, cut it, and it'll be good to go. Now you can see right here, it's corner to corner, corner to corner. Now we can put a weld all the way down there, and put a weld all the way down the top.
See a cool truck come to the shop, especially with the old friend driving up in it. Corey, what's up, man?
What's going on, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Man, all right. This the latest and the greatest?
This is the newest one.
This is a real nice 75 square body with a real long bed. Corey owns a local body shop, and I've known him for a long, long time. So what's up, man? What you got doing?
Let me show you what I got. I got a little problem. This tire's rubbing on this bedside right here.
Well, yeah, it's touching right now.
It is. So the rear end's not totally centered up.
Right.
The wheels, the offset of the wheels, they come off of another truck. I mean, they work on the truck, but it's a real tight gap.
I see.
On this.
Man, definitely riding this low. You can't be doing that. You don't want to be riding around real high in the back, right?
No, I like to ride it low, and as it sits right now, I can't ride low.
What's the other side look like?
But the other side, it's over here. I've got a gap that I don't have over there.
Yeah, you got a little bit more room on this side.
Yes.
It's definitely not 100% center, but even if it is 100% center, you still have the panhard bar, right? You have that fixed area on the frame, and then coming over to the axle, it's going to follow that plane no matter what. So you're going to have a little side-to-side movement. And because that wheel is so large,
yeah,
the tire's got a little bulge to it, and just the way the square body's made, it is so close to the bed sides, the fender well trim, to the tire, right? There's no room for movement. A lot of vehicles we deal with, there's only a couple things you can do to fix a problem. Narrow the rear end, get a different wheel and tire, or fix the centering issue. If everything else is good underneath here, I think all we have to do is get rid of the panhard bar and put a wishbone in place.
Yeah.
That way the suspension can still go up and down, but it won't have any side-to-side movement, so you'll be good with that. You know, wishbone is basically a telescoping bracket that mounts to the frame and mounts to the axle and keeps everything 100% centered.
So, Bill, if you take the wishbone to work, can I just leave it here and get it taken care of?
Man, you know we got you on that, Corey. We'll definitely make it work with what you got and save that paint and save them tires for you.
I'd appreciate that.
It's an easy deal, man. No sweat. Let's go in the office. Let's make it happen.
All right.
Having a custom car comes with responsibility. It's not buying a car off the lot and you put the keys in it and you just drive it wherever you want. When it comes to a custom vehicle, especially a lowered custom vehicle, you got to learn how to drive it. It's not like driving a stock vehicle. It's how far to turn with big wheels. You can't just turn lock to lock on some instances. You got to swerve around potholes because you have a low profile and how to ride with and to ride low and comfortable and not have any issues. You know, that's just part of the game when you're customizing a build that's already been custom built. You know, the issues that's on Corey's truck with the wheel clearances, you know, it's very, very common. You know, different wheels, different tire, you know, different diameter, different width. I mean, there's all kind of problems that arise anytime you change up anything. In the custom game, the bigger wheels and the lower you get, the better. But it's a fine line between looking good and drivability. Anytime you change to larger wheels and tires, on a lower truck like this C10, you're asking for trouble.
You ready?
Jamie and Lulu are taking off the bed so we can get a good look at what we're working with.
Come on. All right, let it down, guys. All right, thank you. All right, so we got the bed off now. We can see what we're working with. We'll go ahead and start disassembling this thing and start putting our wishbone.
You got it.
We got this.
I'm going to watch you do it.
No, we got this.
You got the cross member there. Instead of messing with any of that, this looks kind of, I mean, it's all right. It's functioning, but I don't really like the looks of it. And I knew we were going to do the wishbone on it. I know he had clearance issues, but, you know, Corey's a friend of mine. I can't be having him ride around looking like this. Now we have the bed off the C10, I'm seeing a couple more issues. You know, I don't like the plastic line and some of the placement of the valves and compressors. You know, I definitely prefer hard line because it will last way longer and it looks way better. I think moving this tank, moving the air tank back where the factory gas tank was, it'd be totally out of the way on the outside of the frame. Move the compressors and everything out there, so we'll have plenty of room to build a really sturdy, cool looking wishbone. And taking out all this flat bar and everything, and then boxing it back in with a piece of 2x4, and that'll give some rigidity back in this old riveted frame. And we'll make it look just as good on the bottom of it than it does on the top. Alright, cool. Good.
So we're gonna go ahead and dump the air out of the tank right now. Okay, so you can see they overcut the frame right here, and we want it to look like it was made like this. So we're gonna make a straight line, even with the notch right here, so it looks nice and clean from underneath. It's gonna function better. We're gonna get rid of the DOT line. We're gonna put hard line on it. We're gonna make sure all the air management's in a nice, tidy position. Oh, it's gonna look great underneath. It's gonna look a lot better than it did before. Bubble gum welds. You can see this weld's a good weld. This is actually one of our notches right here. You can see it's nice, consistent penetration right here. And then you look over this other tab right here. It doesn't flow. I can see spaces underneath it. Not only does this weld not look pretty, it's not consistent, probably not strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this piece. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this flat bar out now. This is my last piece. I got everything cleaned up inside the frame. We're gonna cut this out, be good to go.
As for the 42 Ford, the real key is finding that perfect spot for the new cross member.
Dealing with a car this old, things ain't where they should be originally. We fitted the front end with the cab, got it where it needs to be. Now we gotta get our wheels where they need to be. We can't line it up where it should be, and we can't line it up by eyeballing because everything's just not right. So we're gonna do the best we can with some plumb bobs, center it in our wheel opening, one on each side, and then run as a straight edge across, and that's how we're gonna mark the centers of our frame. That way we know exactly where to put our cross member at. When I'm setting all this up, lining it up, measuring, not only does that cross member need to be dead center on that frame, but we also want that wheel to end up centered in the wheel opening. You don't want it too far back, too far forward, because it's not going to look right. So when we get that lined up on the frame, all square, perpendicular with frame rails and everything, we got to come back and make sure our wheel is going to be centered as well before we can go and start welding all that in place. There you go, buddy.
All right, now we have everything centered up, everything's leveled, the frame's level, this is level, it's centered where we want it. Now we're gonna make a couple pieces to connect this other piece back here. We'll box it all the way in so it'll be 100% strong. Squared up, tacked in place with a piece of flat bar. We need to make some sides for it. So we took a template, kind of measure where it needs to be, and we'll take this over there and make this out of metal. All right, Lulu did a good job getting everything welded in. Now you can see this is all boxed in. So this connects this frame to the cross member. Now we can drop the big engine in here. It'll handle the horsepower and the torque since everything's fully boxed.
narrow the rear end on the 42 Ford. And because the owner wants to ride low, we got to make room for those 22-inch wheels.
Perfect.
That is like a Hot Wheels now, huh?
Now John's going to notch the frame so there's plenty of clearance.
Now we got this all cut out. We know how far up our tire is going to go bottomed out. We're going to put this template inside and outside the frame on both sides, weld it up, and then cut this section out and box it all in. And we got us a notch. So basically, when this truck is bottomed out, like hitting a hard bump, the axle is going to be way up here. Of course, bigger than that circle is just reference. But at ride height is literally going to be about right here. So you need that little bit of space and drivability so your axle doesn't bottom out on your frame. Now we got all our notch plates in line with these two parallel bars, and they're all welded out to the frame. Now we can cut this center section out on both sides, and we'll have us a notch. After that, we'll fill them in. Now we weld. So I got the last cap piece tacked in place. Now this is ready to get welded out. Once I'm done, the frame will be done.
I'm gonna figure out how to make a wishbone.
Lulu's getting the wishbone going on the C10, which will look like the turkey wishbone from Thanksgiving when it's done.
First step is get a piece of angle, then be our straight edge, clamp this to the table, and from there, get some measurements off the rear end, and come back and draw it on the table. Outside to outside is 24.
On a 2-link rear suspension, there's nothing holding the axle going from side to side once you remove the panhard bar. So we need something to keep everything in place, and the wishbone does that by 3 fixed points that are going to hold everything straight going up and down, and has a telescoping point that lets the 2-link go up and down without being in a bind.
Now I can notch it for sure. Right, here's the moment of truth. Lands where it needs to land. That's what we want right there. So now that I have these outside pieces tacked in here, now you can see why it's called a wishbone.
Okay, so while Elu's making our wishbone, I'm gonna go ahead and relocate our compressors back here. I've already started on one and got my marks for the next one. Go ahead and put my compressor here, tack it up. Then I'll know right where I can put my manifold, weld that on. We'll run our air lines to it. Everything's our tank, which is going up front what we talked about. It's just gonna look a lot cleaner, and it's done right. I'll weld these out real quick. I'll mount my compressors. Then I'll be able to see right exactly where my manifold's gonna go. Okay, well that's not gonna work there. The issue I'm having right now is just a clearance issue, so I'm gonna go ahead and just shorten this bracket right here for our manifold. I'm leaving about an 1/8 inch off the manifold, so I'll still have room for my airlines to go in behind the compressors. Let me take this off, go ahead and shear it. You can see there's enough room to get our airline out. It's nice, clean, it's tight, looks good, it's compact. Now tack it, weld it.
The C10's getting really close to getting done. We finished welding, painting, and installing the wishbone.
Now that we got the wishbone on there, Everything's perfect. It's going to stay exactly centered between both frame rails, so we're not going to have any issues with the tire rubbing.
Lulu and Jamie are finishing by running hard lines in between the air compressor, tank, and airbag.
Come on with it. Move, please. Move.
Man, it might have taken only a couple days to knock out,
Go forward. I think that's it, guys.
but the changes we made are going to make a world of difference. Corey, what's happening?
What's going on, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Man, doing good, man, doing good. Man, I know you came in, you was having some issues, the clearance issues of taking a wheel and tire off another truck and fitting it on another truck that wasn't really designed for it. We got you all hooked up, everything. Let's check it out.
Hi, man. Oh, man. Much better. Look like you're ready to drive.
Yeah, man.
Wheels look good.
Right?
Man, the truck's only been gone a week, but seeing it coming out that gate, I'm so happy to have it back.
Beautiful C10, man. Good looking truck.
Man, thanks, Jamie.
Corey, you came in, you had air suspension, of course, you got to have that riding low, but it had a panhard bar on it, but that's just how our kits are designed, right? But in this case, with those wheels and tires, with this bedside, the way a square body's designed, man, everything has to be on the money for everything to play right. Well, now everything has been redone. We cut off all the old panhard bar and just started over. We built a wishbone, so there's no side-to-side movement now. So when you raise and lower, the rear end stays perfectly centered in between the bedsides.
Exactly what I needed on this one.
While we're underneath there, truck need a little extra love, so.
Yes. Yeah, we moved a lot of stuff around, man. Went ahead and moved the air tank, moved the compressors, moved the manifold, did hard lines to everything, cleaned everything up. It looks amazing under there. It matches the truck now.
Awesome.
It looks real good underneath there now, man, and it works real well.
I'm glad y'all took it in.
You don't want plastic lines on a custom build like this. I mean, you have vibration issues, chafing, rubbing, heat. You don't want any of those problems. I mean, that'll leave you on the side of the road. So a nice hard line is definitely the way to go. Corey, it looks good underneath there. We got everything in its place, but, it's the moment of truth of dropping it down on the ground and making sure, the clearance is at 100% and no issues.
Let's check it out.
Jamie, drop that sucker down. Let's show him how centered it is.
Oh, man, all right. Looks like the wheels fit now, Bill.
Yeah, both sides.
Both sides, yeah. They clear.
Right.
That looks a lot better. I can already tell. Gap here, wheels clear there.
Yeah, it's on the money.
Same gap over here. It's perfect.
Man, it goes straight up and down.
Exactly what it needs. That way I can roll low.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you, Bill, and thank you, Jamie, for everything that you did.
Man, you're very welcome.
Have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
Lulu and Jamie always got my back. They did a great job. And Corey, enjoy driving your truck around as low as you like.
Take it easy.
The roller chassis is coming together on the 42 finish, mounting the LS and add a new steering column.
I'm glad Tim boxed in that open channel frame, because this is a whole lot of motor, and I don't think that original frame would have held up. So with that said, with it being boxed in, shift it over that way, should have no problems holding this power plant. Right there. So now we got suspension done, the rack in place. We're gonna install the steering column inside the truck, get it all mounted up, and then we're gonna connect our steering shaft from the end of the column to the end of the rack. First thing we're gonna do is take that bottom plate off the floor that the original steering column went through and make a new one that's flat. That way we can install this lower column mount, which we just call it an eyeball, because when you put it in the floor, you can move it around, pivot it however you want. That'll get bolted back up to the floor, and the steering column will slide through here, and that's our lower mount. Now all we gotta do is make us a new panel, the same shape as what came out, on a new piece of flat metal. What I'm doing now is just figuring out the center of my lower mount. We need to cut out a hole about a good 3 inches. Perfect circle, see? With these bolt holes, then we'll slide our column through, and the column will get mounted to the bottom of the dash. Does it fit? Of course it does. Just about the right spot we need it. Now the only thing we got left to do is connect from the steering column to the rack and pinion. What we're gonna use is this piece of 3/4 DOM that slips into this U-joint. And from here, we're gonna come down to another U-joint with a Heim that'll come right off the frame, and then from there to the rack. Take a measurement. Now check it in place and test it out. Alright, this is the moment of truth. We got the steering wheel. I'll get this mounted on the column. Give it a few cycles, left to right. See how it feels. Alright, everything looks good. Tire's nice and smooth. See what it does with the wheels on. But for now, all we gotta do is weld this out. Steering is done.
We're getting really close to being done with stage 1 on the 42. Jamie's going to put on those huge 22s.
Looks nice. I like those.
One thing that's been bothering me since I've seen this truck is that grill. So we're going to replace it with an original vintage grill.
That looks much, much better.
You know, in the world of custom, there's extremes. There's extreme low and there's extreme high, and, you know, everything in between. When it comes to being the lowest of the low, there's, you know, a certain thought process of what all has to be done to create something really, really low to the ground. And you're thinking about fender wells, you know, how big a wheel is going to fit underneath there. In some cases, a new frame being built. I mean, there's a lot goes into, you know, when something's sitting on the ground like that. You know, as far as lifted trucks, you know, it's not just throwing springs on or anything like that. You know, that's a whole nother thought process of what suspension is going to work the best at what height. You know, the different shocks, the different wheels, different tires, different brakes, different everything. I mean, there's a lot to be thought about when you're building custom suspensions. Custom suspension is part of the custom build. You gotta have it.
Bill?
Man, what's happening?
Oh, man, I'm just here, brother, waiting on you.
Yeah, well, yeah, everybody's waiting on me, right? Can't build them fast enough.
That's right.
Man, you came in, you know, you had your dream truck and a big, big dream.
Oh, yes, I do.
You know, phase 1 is complete, man. I think you're really going to like it to finally see all those parts come together.
I cannot wait, man.
You ready to check it out?
Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man. God, you did it, brother. That's what I'm talking about right there.
What you think, man?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And when I went around the corner to see my truck, I said, wow, I couldn't believe all the parts that I had he put together, and I couldn't believe it. I'm loving it.
There you go.
That's the way I dreamed it. When can I start driving?
Right. We're still a little ways away from that one.
Oh, yeah.
We ain't driving yet. That's the next go around. But, you know, phase 1.
Yeah.
I mean, we took the parts that you had and just built what's becoming your dream truck. We got it on the lift and just noticed the frame was totally rusted out. So luckily you brought us a new frame, good foundation. We can start building front suspension, start building the rear suspension, coilovers on it, just to get that stance right. We took the wheels and tires that you supplied us and we put the wheel up in place and just built all the components to make the wheel and tire fit on there, to make everything work properly. And then kind of, you know, give a little throwback look with the original grill and the styling that's there too. I think it just makes the whole project look a little better with, you know, the classic styling still there.
And it looks a lot better that way than how I had it before. I'm happy, man. I can't be no happier than what I am right now.
Right? Well, let's check out the back. You can see the suspension and everything underneath of it.
Oh, man, this is what I'm talking about right here.
You know, usually you see we do air suspension or coilovers. In this case, you wanted that static low all the time, so we went with coilovers on the back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we built a parallel 4-lane so you can put whatever power is under the hood, this suspension can handle.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
You know, with a big notch in the frame, so you got plenty of wheel travel. So you still have that comfortable ride, with that wheel travel, still has plenty of room, so it's going to ride and handle very, very well and be real low.
Oh, yes, sir. That's what I want. And it looks lovely. You did an excellent job with your guy. And I like that. I really do. That's why I came to you.
Hell yeah. Let's check out inside here.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all keep on just surprising me. Man, it's nice. That's exactly what I'm looking for right there.
You know, when a truck's in a stage like this, one of the most important things, you know, once you get it rolling, you got to be able to steer it. You're going to be working on it yourself and moving it around, so you have to have a column in.
Looks good. The column, how he did the work was excellent. I think that was a perfect job.
Let's check out under the hood.
Okay.
We'll just grab it. We'll just set it down right here.
That's my baby.
Man, you see it all coming together now, really, right?
Man, it looks nice.
You said you got about 800 horsepower, huh?
Yes, sir.
It looks right at home underneath here, right?
Yeah.
Built a new crossover, added the rack and pinion steering, built the control arms, up, round, lowers, we built the motor mounts, built the trans mount. Man, you set up.
It looks real nice, man. You did a lovely job on everything. Hey, this is the first phase. I can't wait till the second, third, fourth, whatever, how many stages it is.
That's totally up to you.
A little at a time, so, you know, I'm trying to do it. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, man. You know, it's always cool to help somebody out that's been waiting and waiting and waiting to get their truck built. You know, Edwards had this dream for quite some time, and it's cool to help somebody out. A bunch of frames here at Extensive, but never an all-tube chassis before. You get a little nervous of how big of a project something like this is. You know, one of my favorite vehicles just rolled into lot, the Hummer H1.
We need help getting a cage built.
They're going to use this as their chase truck, and they want it really safe.
We want to do one more thing. Oh, man.
I told you I had something for you.
That's crazy.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. Off-road buggy. You know, I want something that's going to go anywhere, do anything, and not have any issues. That's what brings me out here today. What stronger chassis is out there than a monster truck? You know, a friend of mine, Dylan, told me I could come out today and just drive his around and get a feel for it. You know, see what this chassis, this suspension's all about. Trucks, what can I say? There's not a better truck on the planet. A day like this is a dream come true. From a little kid going in the arenas, seeing the monster trucks jump, run around, just go crazy. I mean, today is an awesome day to finally get to do that in person while doing some research. Good day.
Well,
man,
what do you think?
Man, I appreciate that, man. That's every guy's dream to get to do that.
No problem. It's a big tumble buggy, really, you know.
The one thing I'm really interested in is the chassis design itself. I've had a bunch of toys over the years, and, you know, side-by-sides, and right out the box, you take them out, and they fail 50% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, I want to build a tube chassis buggy with a lot of horsepower, big wheels and tires, and I want to be able to take it wherever I want to take it and not have issues. So I was thinking, what is the strongest chassis around that's been, you know, tried and true? And you got it right here.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's not any.
Yeah, we put them through its paces, you know, like we jump 20, 30 feet every weekend, you know. There's really no weak point on the chassis.
Right. I know you guys designed this on a computer.
You know, this one was designed in a program called SolidWorks. You can literally build the chassis, manipulate it,
And not only that, you can strength test it and everything like that. So that's really the cool part, is you can test like the weaknesses, and if you got to add a bar or something like that, you can literally take that and then extract the files. And then if you want to send it to a guy that cuts it, they can perfectly tube notch every tubing. So it'd be like a big puzzle piece, you just put it together.
I can definitely do that.
I feel like that's what you need.
For sure.
There you go. And then you'd be doing backflips and everything else like me.
I don't know about that.
Come on now.
Thank you.
Ain't no problem. Thanks for coming out.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. See you later.
I'm known for hand-making chassis, and I'm proud of it. But man, after driving this thing, I'm ready to give the new computer age a shot. Maybe just this one time. Vehicles just rolled into lot. The Hummer H1, iconic, just military, tough truck. I'm gonna go outside and see what's going on with it. What's up, fellas?
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
What's happening, man?
Good.
Come on, Mafia guys, huh?
Yeah, you got
the
it.
Hummer guys?
Absolutely,
That's
we
what
are the Hummer guys.
Man, I love these H1s, man. Every American needs one of these, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're like nothing else. This started as a 2001 Hummer H1 wagon, so the full top civilian.
Oh, it had.
Yep. We stripped the wagon roof off, full interior AC seats, rear, all that stuff, and we're down 2,200 pounds, so 6,200 pounds right now.
The Mod Mafia guys, they got a cool custom shop as far as just H1 enthusiasts. They sell their parts and pieces all over the world. They are very, very well known with a great reputation. You guys are the H1 guys. What do you need from me?
We need help getting a cage built, roll cage. Metalwork, that's what y'all do.
We're going to be using this as a trail truck our time back too. We want to make it rad, make it safe, and safety and roll cages is not quite in our wheelhouse. We need your help to do that.
Yeah, you're not taking this on some crazy trails. You flip this sucker over, you're going to die, right?
Yeah, it'd be real bad with what it's got sitting there right now.
Definitely. So, trail truck, you're not going to make it pretty shiny.
No, we got other trucks for that.
This one is meant to go see some pain. It's meant to be beat up and scratched, so it's meant to be like this, but we're wanting you to put some design in it and kind of zazz it up, because that's what's going to be the showcase of this truck.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be the restoration of it.
And just a cage for
the front
or all the way back to the back?
The front.
I think it's important just to kind of put some of the cage where it's protecting the body, so we don't just absolutely crush it in.
Something out here in case you do rub against a tree or...
This is aluminum.
Yeah.
It's very malleable. It's going to crush.
Right. So coming around, coming down, tying into here, bolt to the body, tying into the frame, but you also want it to protect the side as well.
The rear fender. Yep.
This is going to be real cool.
We want to do one more thing.
What's that?
We want to have a mount on the top for a machine gun.
Oh, most definitely.
Not is this only going to be a trail truck, we're going to have some fun in it too.
Man, that makes my day.
What's going to be cooler than an extensive roll cage, a trail truck mount on top? I can't think of anything.
So, you're wanting the cage to protect the two drivers, come all the way back to the back, protect the out part of the body, and to be able to shoot from the top also.
Oh, yeah.
And I get to shoot it, right?
Oh, yeah. You're going to
get to shoot it. Of course.
Well, man, let's go make it official.
Cool. All right, let's do it.
I love coming to work every day. It's always something different. One day we're bolting on chrome, polishing paint. Next day we get to work on something rough and rugged, just like this H1. That's what I like about projects like this. You just get in, get to work, build some cool stuff, and go have fun with it. It doesn't matter about fit and finish or your color. It matters how tough, how just mean it looks, and the whole overall flow of the project with a whole lot of safety built in. This truck's going to be going where most trucks will never, ever go. And when it comes time to that day that this truck might be upside down on its roof, you got to make sure it's going to be safe. Man, I love projects like this that you don't have to worry about how gentle you shut a door. You don't have to worry about where you park. There's no stress. It's a stress reliever.
Why do
we have a camo Hummer in the parking lot. Do you sell your side-by-side?
I'd really like to have one of these, but that's not what we're talking about today. But you know, the Mod Mafia guys, this is theirs. You know, they go to competitions all over the country, you know, going through ravines, trails, whatever it is. They're going to use this as their chase truck, and they want it really safe. So there's not going to be a roof or anything on it. So we're going to build a custom cage to cover all this.
I understand why they want a little bit of safety, man. Them guys go through some crazy stuff. They do some big terrains. They really push them Hummers. So you're building just another cage from here to here, just going all the way.
You know, we don't want it to go all the way back and down. He wants it more of a two-seater style cage, and then come down and, you know, something that's going to protect the sides. The thing we got to really get creative with is attaching it to the frame itself. On the H1, the frame's inboard, so this is the frame rails right here. So there's not much at all as far as strength on the outer points of this. So if it does flip over, just that, you know, connecting to the outer points ain't really going to do it.
You want it to look cool, like it's meant for this vehicle, but we want it to be super strong.
That's it. And we got a little bonus on this. We're going to put a swivel gun mount up here.
Like a real mount a gun up there and go fire?
Yeah. So I told him, man, I don't have a problem doing that for you. It's going to be real, real cool.
All right, well, let me find out what bay we can put it in. We can get started on that. Let's get going.
Let's do it, man. Before we can design the roll cage, we need a much stronger foundation to build upon. So I'm having Tim bend some new pans to cover the body of the top of the truck.
Right now, this is just aluminum. There's really no strength. This whole thing just moves. So we're making a whole cover for this. I will make a template out of this chipboard that's going to cover all this. We're basically going to make a plate break down the sides and also come and break this way and in the front. So next we're going to bend this chipboard on the brake. I know it looks a little crazy, but what it's going to do, it's going to put me a crease all the way down it that I know where this needs to bend, where the ends need to bend. I can place it over the top of the truck. When this fits perfect, I'll give it to Jesse and he can burn me two of them out. You know, this is one of the reasons that I like doing the template first is I can come in and make some little adjustments here, like on this corner, how the tailgate indents in right here. I know I need to cut this out, but it's easier to do it on this template, and then when he burns it out over there, I can put everything up here. It's 100%.
Some of my favorite builds have been just like this 2001 H1. It's just a great truck to build off of. Once Timmy finishes reinforcing the back end, we're going to make a roll cage that fits this thing perfectly.
We can line up our mark here and here. We'll put this in the brake. We'll put it on 90 degrees. Bend that corner, we'll flip it. Do this corner, we'll take it to the truck. We got rid of all the holes, the indentions, the lines, the rivets, everything, and it just cosmetically looks better. But it's going to make the whole truck come together as one piece. How's it look down there, Jamie?
Man, it's perfect. You did a good job. I mean, bends on point. It's nice and solid, man. It's way better than what we had before.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know everything fits. We'll go ahead and start welding the corners together. First time I ever seen a Hummer was actually on a train car. I mean, you know, just driving on the highway, we're taking a family vacation, and, you know, all of a sudden I see all these Humvees on this train car. I'm like, wow, man, those things are crazy. So getting to work on one, you know, and make it better, I mean, it just doesn't get no better than these things. These things are bulletproof. I mean, mud, you can climb a tree with one of these things.
The body of this thing's aluminum. So we're using a steel, so you can't weld the two together. So what we have to do now, drill the bolt holes in it. They'll be bolted from the back, from the front, from the outside, and the inside. So it'll be 100% stronger, and then we're ready for the cage. And if anything ever did happen, they need to access something, they can unbolt this and see what's going on. All right, now we got that where we want it. I'm gonna go ahead and lay out the inside. I'll go ahead and drill those, bolt those, and we'll continue the process to the outside and the front.
What's he doing? Come see old Dad. Yeah. Go see. It's probably gonna cost me money. Guarantee it. What you doing, girl?
I just want to come down. Hi.
Hi. You just want You just want to come see me today?
Yeah. I mean, I just...
Come on now. What'd you do to your car?
Nothing. I haven't done anything to it.
It's always good when your kids show up to work, but, you know, when it's a surprise, you got that little apprehension of what are they here for? What do they want? How much is this going to cost me?
I mean, I love this car. It rides so high. You know, like I've gotten made fun of for that. And the wheels. I mean, just the wheels, like, there's not anything special about them.
Oh, poor little 17-year-old got a brand new car.
I know. It's just, I don't know. You see, like, my mom's car, you know, like, you know, hers is cool. And, like, you always say, like, you know, you can't have her riding around with, like, you know, a really stock car. I don't know. I want to have a cool car, too, just like everyone else.
I can definitely understand the age she is. You know, 17 years old, your personality is wanting to come out. And that's just one more form of your personality come out is customizing your car. So, is this your way of shaking me down for some wheels and tires and lowering your car? Is that what you're doing?
Kinda. I'd want to, yeah.
It's not your birthday.
I know, but just like, I don't know, I've been wanting to do it for a while, you know? I've had this car for like about a year and a half. It's my first car. You know, it was a cool car to begin with, but I mean, like, once I had it longer, I just wanted to do stuff to it just to make it that much better. I don't know, I just want to do something to it,
you know
too.
what? That makes me real proud that you want to have a
I want to represent what you do, too. Yeah, with my car. You know?
Most 17-year-old girls could care less, but...
Exactly. I want to do stuff to my car. I want to make it look, I want to make it stand out and be something different.
And what'd you name her?
Caroline.
Yeah. Wheels and tires. Probably like a 22, like a blacked out 22 on here.
Yeah.
I know you like to have it all blacked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you put that on it, it's got to be lower, right?
Yeah.
Probably change the grill out too, man. Something cool, you know, in the front also, right?
Yeah. That would look great.
You know, your first paycheck went to the air intake. You know, you got the cool exhaust on it already. You already got the louvers on the back. So, yeah. You know what? I definitely want you to have a cool car, too. You know, I'll make a deal with you.
Okay.
The stipulation is that you're going to work on it with me.
Okay.
So you're going to get your butt in the shop, get dirty, and get after it. So if I say, hey, hand me that tool... Right here. I got it. Hold on. I'm texting somebody.
Okay. So if I do help you, then we will put them on there? Like, actually? Okay. That'd be cool.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Is that a deal?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go pick out some wheels. I tell you what, you talk about a proud dad, that's this guy right here. You know, my kids having especially my daughter, that makes me very, very proud, and it's like the coolest thing ever. She got her first job working at a restaurant. She got her first paycheck, and she came up to the shop and ordered an air intake. So the enthusiasm is there. She wants to fix it up. She wants to look cool when she's riding down the road, and we're going to get her hooked up. You know, it's pretty cool to say she's a chip off the old block. You know, she wants to roll up and people know she's there. And it's really cool when you do roll up, somebody says, hey, where'd you get that done? She gets to say, you know, I did it. You know, be able to bond with my daughter, teach her some stuff, let her get dirty, learn some things. It's a win-win for both of us. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm excited too. You've been really taking care of this. You've been doing good in school. I'm proud of you. So, first things first, we'll get it on the lift, get it jacked up. Really, the main important thing is when you're putting the car on the lift, is finding the right points when the whole weight of the vehicle is on it. You just don't want to put it underneath there and pick it up.
Yeah.
You got to find the proper pickup points on it. If not, you'll crush the floor, crush fuel lines, electrical lines. There's all that stuff hanging underneath the car. So it's important to find that one. Good.
I really want this car to look good, so I don't really mind, you know, getting my hands dirty and working on it, you know? I'm excited for what it'll look like later.
All right, you get that one?
Yeah. Bam, nice touch. So we're gonna take the nut off of the coilovers and then put the new springs on. It is It's really cool to have a dad who knows so much about cars. I feel like I didn't even used to like cars until I got my car. If I didn't have a dad who did this stuff, I would be trying to save like so much money to try and do this stuff, and I probably wouldn't even try. But having a dad who does it, it's really cool. I'm really lucky, you know?
So you got the top loose already? So the only thing we have to do now, there's a little bracket for the sway bar here.
Okay.
We'll take that loose.
Okay.
You can take the whole spring out, and then we'll replace it. Right back in.
Okay.
So right now, grab a socket. It fits on the sway bar bracket. And while you're doing that, go ahead and find the one for the bottom also.
Okay. The first thing that I've done to my car, the intake, I've worked on with my dad a little bit. I tried to put it together by myself, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And then he's helped me spray paint the taillights, and then we've worked on the exhaust for it too. And this is by far, though, like the most hands-on I've the tighter coils at the front.
We got the coilovers out, old springs off of the 2020 Challenger. Now Presley and I are installing the new springs. They're going to get her car a little bit lower. Way down.
They look awesome. I love that they're red because it sticks out way better than like how it was black.
There we go.
Yeah.
So before we put the wheels and tires on, there's one more thing we got to do. Put that grill in. I know you want to see that too.
Yeah. You have to wait all the way till the end to see the wheels.
Yeah. It's like the cherry on the top. It just rushed right into that.
I guess. Okay. Well, let's get it done.
Well, let's do it. You ready to do that?
Yeah.
Let's tackle it. You know, it makes me real proud to have her in the shop working, you know, getting her hands dirty, being appreciative for what we're doing and learning in the process. So, really good day for Dad. Come on with it. Keep going. Alright, top. Alright, bottom. Alright. What you think?
It looks amazing.
All blacked out.
Yeah.
It just looks mean coming at you.
It looks mean. Oh my gosh, it looks awesome.
Wheel surprise for you. Come on, bring it on in, man. Check them out.
Oh my god.
The 22s.
Those are awesome.
The TIS 22s.
Yeah.
Those are brand new.
Oh my god.
Those are cool.
Those are so cool.
You want to put them up? Let me see what it looks like with it on there?
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
It looks awesome. It looks way better than how it did before.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous
too, and it's my car.
Thank you for your help. You did a great job today.
Yeah.
You know, this buggy's really been keeping me up at night. You know, a project like this to somebody who creates, fabricates, welds, there isn't a more exciting project than this. You know, we built a bunch of frames here at Extensive, but never an all-tube chassis before. You know, I got the wheelbase established on what I think is going to be a good proportion for the buggy. The whole inspiration for this is these 58-inch tall tires. I mean, just seeing these tires, I got excited. I want something to put them on. We're finding some military axles. Then from the military axles to the big diesel engine, you know, 1,500 horsepower. You know, every part that's added to this, it just adds to the excitement the whole way. You know, it's like an art project you actually get to drive and you have a whole lot of fun with. We're going to build everything 100% chromoly on this, so it's super light, super strong, so I can put myself, my family in it, and not have to worry about anything. You know, I ain't gonna lie, you get a little nervous of, you know, how big of a project something like this is. You know, you want it as big as possible, but it's still got to be somewhat practical to be able to transport and fit in the garage, and you just can't build it just totally massive. I want an off-road buggy, but I want something that has some style and has that sporty look, and I definitely want that sporty performance. Where better to take my hopes and dreams for a buggy than Race Source? These guys design monster trucks.
What's up?
What's up, man?
I don't know why, man. How you been?
Man, real good, real good. You hard at it?
I'm hard at it every day.
No, that's right.
I'm a former monster truck driver. I actually campaigned one of the Gravedigger trucks for 26 years. It's for the racing industry. So now that I've retired from driving, I'm full-time here in the shop where I manufacture purpose-built components for the monster truck industry. I build tube chassis, and I get to continue living my dream, doing something I love to do every day.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Not a monster truck, but this is what I need your help with. They're all notched perfectly.
That's what's so nice about designing a chassis in SolidWorks. You just draw it, you put the weld reliefs in, do all that.
Right.
And we send it out, and we have it CNC cut.
No waste.
No waste, very little waste. Everything fits up perfect. The biggest difference between hand building a truck and hand mitering and hand fitting all this is all the fittments. You can create some pretty intricate joints of tubing and different connections that would be just an absolute nightmare to hand notch and hand fit. By doing it in 3D, we're able to let our imagination run wild and build exactly what we want.
I see the advantage of that, and that's why I need your help, man, to make my drawings a reality.
Absolutely. Perfect.
The wheels and tires are 58 inches.
Wow. So that's monster truck size, so that's awesome.
Yeah, about 30 inches off the ground and about 6 foot from, top to bottom. I still want that.
Like it's going 100 mile an hour sitting still kind of
it.
look.
That's what I'm looking for.
Sway bars front and rear?
Man, for sure, because I'm going to drive it.
I've seen some of your other projects and how you drive them, so yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Right.
Well, if you've got everything at your shop, what I need to do is send some guys over there with a 3D scanner. When we're done, we should be able to kind of see what we're going to be working with.
Man, I'm excited, man.
I can't wait to get started on this project. Get done with yours, I might need to build me one.
Yeah, there you go. So Pablo needs some parts scanned for the buggy. So we got the axles on horses. We got the transmission bolted up to the engine. It's in place, so it's ready for the scanner.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, Bill.
Andrew, nice to meet you.
Man, badass. I'm really excited to see how you do this. This is exactly what we need right here. Is the positioning good for you? You're all set with what's here?
Everything looks good to me.
Cool, man. I'm going to let you get to it, man. Thank you for coming, man. And I'm excited to check it out once you're done. Holler if you need something.
Will do. So this is our ASUP scanning spray. We're going to spray all the parts down for the scanner to pick up. This is going to brighten it up or dull it out, so our scanner can pick up all the detail in here and make sure we can pick up all the bolt holes, because that is super important. So next we're going to put our positioning targets on. They should just be done at random. There has to be 4 positioning targets within a 15-inch box. These positioning targets are for when we're scanning. If we see that, maybe we missed the section over here, we want to rescan that, and then it's going to know exactly where it's scanning again because of the pattern of these positioning targets. So this is our Peel 2 3D scanner. This is basically going to take thousands of pictures and stitch them together into a 3D mesh file that we will then turn into a CAD file.
Now that we scan the engine, axles, and wheels, Pablo can get to it, designing that chassis.
Okay, so now what we're doing is we're taking the scan data that came in, and we're going to turn this into SolidWorks files and solid parts. Now that I have my wheelbase, my setback for my engine from the center line of my front axle, we can really start nailing this thing down. So next step on this would be to put seats in it so that we can see where the driver's going to sit. Got to get the family in there. One of the neat things about this tube chassis build is that you don't have to have a lot of mass and a lot of members to get a lot of strength out of it. I'm able to keep it fairly lightweight, yet extremely rigid and very safe, and in the case of a rollover. This thing has got a really aggressive looking stance, man. This thing is going to look awesome coming down the road towards you. Well, I've almost got this full chassis design done. I'm pretty confident. Most all our dimensions are all right. Our clearances are right. So I got a few more little tweaks in here. I'm going to add a couple more bars, but then we'll extract each one of these tubes individually, and we'll put this thing on a pallet and ship it over to Bill and let them guys start putting it together.
If you like off-roading like I do, things can get sideways real quick, literally. The roll cage for the 2001 Hummer has to look cool, of course.
Just joking.
But more than anything, it's got to be bulletproof. You know, this is our long enough to do this here, so I'm checking, double checking, and rechecking to make sure everything's 100% right. There's a windshield wiper motor right in our path for the cage.
So center to the outside, we need 6 inches per side.
And how far out?
3's tight.
They'll give it 4 inches. You know, what we got going on is a little obstacle, a little bump in the road. If we make our cage perfect to this drawing and then go back and bend around that, it's going to shrink our cage in. So we're figuring out how far it's got to bump out. See, we need to go right there.
6.5, 6.5.
Yeah. To figure out how much length we need to add in between the 2 outside bends. So when we do bend it, it's going to shrink back down to the perfect width. So we're about to see how good we are. Okay, we know it's 24 inches. We line this up on the edge, on the outer part of our measurements here. So we know 12 inches from there is what we need.
12 from there is where we need to put center of that bend. Yeah, there's a couple of easier options. We could have done this. Could have made it in 2 pieces. Could have made it in 3. I enjoy this kind of stuff because it's more thinking. And me having a construction background, you always had to take blueprints the same way, but the blueprint's all in your head or you're laying it on a table. It's not computer generated. It's something you just lay out with some lines. A little bit back towards you. All right. Yep. You know, there's a lot of companies that have these big scanners and have this that everything's already pre-bent on the computer. Well, here we got to do it by hand. Not to say it'd be a better product, but it's a lot more self-satisfying to me knowing that we took a straight piece of pipe and bent it all in one piece.
Man, that's a real good start. I mean, this is the hard part.
All that work just for that one wiper motor.
Yeah. We'll get the body trimmed out here so we can get it even closer. And we'll start building it all the way back from there. I love it. When stuff starts coming together. Me and Timmy got the flow going. I like how that kind of leans in right there. Looks good. Once it's flowing, all the creative juices start coming together and it starts to become reality, which really gets exciting. You know, now we got the outer part of the structure done. The cage is looking really good. You know, the next step is building all the inner structure where it really makes it strong, rigid, and adds a lot of style to it. You know, it's really starting to take shape. You know, the main structure is all set in place. Really strong is adding all the bracing everywhere, the X bracing, and part that really makes the attitude come alive. You know, it's already safe, but we're going to make it really cool and really aggressive and just look mean. Things are always more satisfying when you work hard for them. You know, after everything my daughter Presley's done to her 2020 Challenger, today's the day she gets to feel that satisfaction, and better yet, share it with her good friend.
Thank you for driving me. Cool, so where's the car? I think my dad said he's gonna bring it out in a second. Look at that! That's so awesome! Oh my god, it's really good! Oh my god! Oh, look at that! That looks so different. So cool. I love it. Oh my god, I love it too. It looks amazing. It's so cool. Y'all did a good job. Even though that I worked on the car and everything like that, like seeing you know, like burn it out and everything and just drive it, it looks amazing. It's so cool. It's like crazy.
Tell you what, I've been working your friends that are all dirty, that are working. Did you have fun doing it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, you know, like, I didn't like the little like chrome accents in the front, so I think you know we had to take those and go get them like spray painted, and then we got a new grill. It looks way meaner now. I mean, like I don't know, it changed like the whole view of the car. You know,
looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks way faster, right?
Right.
We changed out the wheels and the tires. They're 22x8s, 22x9s. You know, 315s on the back instead of like you know the steelies.
What she had to have. You know,
I feel like that makes the car. You know.
She kind of guilted me into hooking her car more.
You wanted to do it.
You know, I don't know. It's embarrassing to have your kid ride around on something like, you know, on steelies. Look like a cop.
See what I'm talking about?
We got some caliper covers, and like, you know, it was really simple. I could do it myself. You know, it was something that was nice to be able to do on my own without any help. You know, so it had like 4 or 5 inches of clearance, you know, like between like the fender and the tires. So like we wanted to get rid of those old springs and put in new lowering springs. They're red too. They look way better. Right. And then that's lowered a bunch. I think it has like 2 inches or like 1.5 inches of clearance now, you know, and I got to learn how to use like the impact and the pro drivers. It was really cool.
Wow, so you really got in there and did hands-on work. That sounds fun. You got in there and took the springs off yourself.
Yeah, I mean like what the
Of course, anybody that you tell that story to, that you came to the shop, you took tools out of the toolbox, you got your hands dirty, you used the tools, I mean, he's going to be impressed. I seen Maddie was impressed right off the bat, so.
And, you know, I picked on Maddie the day that I got the car and everything, and she's seen it from whenever I first got it, and just, you know, her being able to see everything we've done to it, you know, just makes it even cooler.
It does, right?
Yeah, to share the experience of it. It's really cool.
I'm proud of you. That makes me proud.
Thank you.
I guess I'm doing something right.
Thank you.
You girls are going to stay out of trouble tonight, right?
Yeah, sir.
Promise?
We will.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. See y'all later.
See y'all.
We finished welding out the roll cage on the 2001 Hummer. Now to get to the customer's other request, the gun mount. Man, this is one of the things that's going to make this cage really unique, is having that swivel gun mount on the top. It's really going to finish it off. It's really going to look mean. Got it feeling good in here, man.
Yeah, it's a little warm.
You know, we're building the cage for the H1 over there.
Yes.
So I need a base burnout for it. And what I want to do, just leave an inch up here.
1 inch.
Yeah, and I want to bend it up at a 90.
All right. You never know, door panel out, or a fender, or a gun mount. Keeps it interesting. All right, now that I got it cut it out, I'm gonna double check my measurements and get it cleaned up, knock off all the slag, bend it for Bill, and just walk it over there.
Always come through for me, man.
So now I have it all tacked in place. We'll put the gun mount up here on top. Instead of trying to lay all this out, the easiest way to do it was just to lay this up here, get it centered where we want it, and use this as a jig. And now we have all the holes drilled right where they go. We're gonna come back and put these sleeves in the cage. So in doing this, we use the flat part of this plate and the flat part of the DOM. So when I tighten that up, you know it's straight and you know it's solid. All right, now we have the holes drilled out. I'll put the gun mount back up here. Let the bottom hang out a little bit so the nut will tighten up flat. It's not trying to crush the cage. And then that'll make it super strong if it's all welded together and make it really, really strong. We'll weld out the top. Now the cage is solid and the gun mount's finished.
Man, it looks real good, man. I'm really impressed how everything come together. Last thing, just weld everything out. See how she shoots.
If you're ever going to build a monster truck, you got to drive it, because that's the ultimate thrill at the end of the mission, is to get behind the wheel of something you created and take it out there and just thrash on it. So I feel like I've come a long ways from when I first started back in the early 80s. It was sketch some things out on the floor. Pretty much just tape measure, plumb bobs, chalk lines on the ground. I took a lot of what I learned back in the early days of doing all this work manually and embraced using computers to design chassis. It's been a game changer for me. I design a chassis from the very first stick of tube, or the very first sketch line on the screen, and when I'm finished, I have a perfect rendering of the finished product. All of those tools that are available to us today, and we can just create a masterpiece out of metal.
the 2001 Hummer is back from powder coat.
And now it's just a process of putting the puzzle together. We're going to put all the top pieces on, put the door caps on. Then it's time for the finale, putting the big cage in here. It's going to change the whole look.
You know, I've customized a bunch of Hummers over the years. It's something I really like working on. You know, just by building a custom roll cage on this one, it's totally changed the whole look. What better place to give it back to the Mod Mafia guys? What's up, fellas?
How you doing, Bill?
Than a shooting range. You guys are the Hummer guys. It's pretty cool to have you bring in a Hummer for us to get down on. It needed to be able to go wherever and keep you guys safe no matter what.
Looks good. Absolutely.
It looks real cool, man. Can we go check it out?
Let's go check it out.
Man.
All right. Oh, man, look at that. There it is. Man.
Got your little surprise up there.
Yeah, you took those design cues into full effect. But the cage really stands out. Yeah, it looks sick, man.
Man, I've been around a lot of Hummers. I've never seen a cage like that.
Well, that's what you wanted, right?
Exactly.
Something unique, and not only that, looks cool, keep you safe.
Yeah, most importantly.
And that is not going anywhere.
No, I think we can roll that one over, and it's going to be perfectly fine.
It just came in, there was just no safety features whatsoever.
Right.
The first thing we did is made the pans for the back. We decided to clean it up and protect the side also, because it's just, just started bending pipe. There's a ton of pipe bending. All those little tweaks and bends not only add the strength, to add that style too, and it all ties to the frame itself. So if there ever is a rollover, all that inertia is transferred down into the frame. If there ever was an accident, we know these guys are 100% secure.
You got those two bars that go around the center windshield pillar.
Oh yeah, and that's
super
all bent one piece.
Man,
that's a lot of work to come up with those bends in the right spot at the right angle, and just to clear everything. Thank God it worked out.
You're flexing some talent on that.
We love when guys like you bring us projects like this to let us put our spin on it.
Doing your art.
Yeah, that's it.
I had no idea what Bill was going to put together here, and the design really nailed it.
It's exactly what we wanted. Actually exceeded our expectations. We were just blown away with the final product.
Not only, you wanted it safe, you wanted it to look good, you wanted a little special request for the top of it, right?
We see you incorporated that in there really well.
Extracurricular activities.
Absolutely. Military truck, you got to have that military mount. We looked around, found an old military swivel mount for an H1. Whatever you want to put up there is totally interchangeable.
Awesome.
If you guys don't mind, I'd like to have first honors and maybe firing a couple rounds off the top of this.
I'm excited to see it.
Once again, I can't thank my team enough. I love the style of the cage. I mean, it flows, everything looks good, and that little cherry on top was that swivel gun mount. This is exactly what this H1 needed. I scared the pineapple. Mark, Josh, I hope you guys had a lot of fun with this. I know I had a lot of fun today. H1, extensive full roll cage, automatic machine gun. Woo! That's very, very, very exhilarating.
Man, that was awesome!
Dude.
That was good stuff, man. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun.
Pablo just finished the rendering of the buggy. This is something I'm really getting excited about. I love the proportions. That's a great start. All the notching and everything goes in this. I'm really interested to see if that really is going to fit the way they say. I mean, the buggy is most definitely a challenge. I've never built anything like this. Never built anything just out of thin air before. And that's just one project. We have the Willys Jeep. It's not just making it wider. It's building the frame, building the suspension, building every single part and piece. An exciting project, but with that exciting project comes a huge workload, because there's nowhere in those projects you can take shortcuts. Once these larger projects like this start rolling out the door,
gonna be built like a tank.
We heard on the street they was up to something. We had to come check it out. This is gonna be crazy, man. I can't wait to see this, man.
Customizing a delivery van definitely has some challenges, but this is actually going to change Dave's life. They told me it can't be done. You're in the right spot. Beautiful. Ryan, bring it on in.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm Bill Carlton.
I'm
built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
When I first seen her, I thought it would have been better off if I just would have turned that thing away. But, you know, that's not what Extensive is about. We like the challenge. We like, you know, when somebody comes in and says you can't do that, that's more reason to do it. You know, I don't know if it's where I'm from or what, but there's something inside me that just doesn't like to be told, that's too hard. This is too much work. Thinking too big. You know, when I hear stuff like that, that's just when it's time to get to work. Going through and putting this car together, that's when you really start to get the ideas of making this thing different from all the other Cadillacs around. You know, if you're only going to do the easy jobs, there's never a challenge. What's the point? We're in the dream-making business. So that's what we're about to do on Earl's right now.
Pretty cool working on this Cadillac, man. I've been around Cadillacs pretty much my whole life, you know. Mostly in my scene, in the lowrider scene.
Man, a Cadillac's one of them cars that's always going to stand the test of time. It's got the name. It's made for the king.
You know, a famous car for a famous NFL player, Earl Campbell, you know.
Y'all talking about the Cadillac?
Oh, yes.
Man, you remember when this thing came in? I was getting a little nervous when it started rolling in and rolling in and rolling in and rolling in, right? You know, parts on a wrecker, trailer, in the car for Earl Campbell. You can't not get him hooked up, right?
Mm-hmm. Now I just need to finish it.
You know, we've already got the new frame underneath this thing. The body's all mounted to the frame with the custom air suspension. The rust is all repaired. This thing's really starting to look like something now. I'm getting excited. Time to put that new engine in, a brand new LSX for this thing. So he's got plenty of power.
Can't believe we're putting LSX in it. Mm-hmm. That's going to be awesome.
You know, in the engine compartment too, I want to redo the firewall, give him a nice bead rolled firewall, something that looks totally different, right? And not only new firewall, I want new sheet metal, nice fender wells that roll down and kind of mold to the firewall. And when Earl sees this thing, I really want him to go, man, this is cool. John, I know you've worked on a lot of Cadillacs, buddy. You got room for one more, huh?
One more.
All right. I'm going to go get this engine. Let's get going. All right.
I never drove a Cadillac with air suspension, but I drove a Cadillac with hydraulics. It was beautiful. I'd love to take this thing out for a ride.
You know, Earl Campbell's a Hall of Famer, but before that, he was just a kid from Texas. He used his God-given talents to do things that nobody special as he is. Every piece of metal work we're going to do on this Caddy is going to have design details in places most folks will never even see.
We're going to take the time to make this engine bay look really good, just as good as the outside of the car. So what we're going to do is make a really nice tub and make it look like all one piece. That way it kind of fills in this engine bay, but not so much where you're going to hide the motor. We want the motor with as much visibility as possible. That's the heart of the car. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this filler panel here, but I'm going to make it look cool. It's just not going to be no flat piece that's going to come down from the top to the bottom. I'm going to make it roll out and then roll back down and give it a little style, you know? Make it look cool, just like the car is. Now we got this nice pretty piece tacked in place. I can continue rolling this on another panel to come all the way down. Now the easiest way to hold this in place without tacking it is to use this little thing called a Pico. This is similar to a removable rivet, I guess you would call it. I don't want to tack it in place yet because I might have to remove it when I mess with the firewall. So all those little Clicos hold that in place, and these flat bars make it flush with the other pieces of the firewall. We can get these out of the way since they're just Clicoed in. Cool thing about working on such a large car, and this big engine bay. It's gonna be a lot of fun to fill this space with something cool and custom.
I'm not sure if you've seen old footage of Earl Campbell running with a football, but man, he was fast, powerful, and just mean. He didn't run from a hit, he just dished them out. So we want an engine that runs just as powerful as old Earl did back in the day. Well, almost as much.
What's up, Brian? Hey, Bill, how you doing? Man, good. All right. You here to pick up that new engine?
You know it.
And this is that one for that 49 Caddy, right?
Man, you know we need a lot of power in that thing. Big, heavy Cadillac like that.
The one that towed Earl Campbell around in?
Yep.
Well, here comes your engine right here.
Man, let's check this thing out. Man, this is exactly what we need for old Earl. Small package and a big punch. What's the horsepower on this?
627 and 586 foot-pounds of torque.
Man.
Well, I know you're going to be happy with it, and I hope Earl Campbell will be happy with.
Start building around it. This LSX is just the power plant to have, much like the old 454s that were in all the hot rods back in the day. The LSX is much lighter, a lot smaller, and more efficient than the original, but with a ton of power. This engine is definitely the one to put in a build like this.
Engine's in before lunch.
Looks pretty dang good.
Just one spoiled Cadillac, huh?
Right? You know, most of the time the engine compartments are so crammed you don't really get to see everything in it. Man, this thing is could have V12 in this thing. You know, on the firewall too, man. We have so much room, we don't even have to notch it for the transmission tunnel. And I love this design you have here. And how about we incorporate this into the firewall itself so it come down and have that little that 3D look too. You know, John and I are old school fabricators. So with the metal work on this car, we're definitely not using a computer. We take what's in our heads and make it with our hands. Man, I know this is becoming one of your favorites. Got to.
Yeah, sure is, Colin.
Me too. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, that gives us room for ideas.
We kind of got an idea of what we want to do on this firewall to make it match these inner fenders. Thinking of it is cool, but doing it is a whole different ballgame. So it's going to take me a little time to figure out all these angles. Got to do it right the first time. If not, we got to start all over from the beginning. So measure it, calculate before I start bending. Bends. This is the radius that we got on the inner fender. This is the piece that's going to go across the bottom of the firewall. And I just want to try to get them to match. We want to keep that same radius throughout the whole engine bay. It's kind of hard because there's like a million things going on in here at once. Playing a little game of small cuts. Cutting a little bit at a time till it fits in place right. Because if you cut too much, then you got a big hole you got to fill. And it'll fit right in there just the way we want. Now that the lower road part of the firewall's in, it's time to make the top part of the firewall. I'm going to trace the shape of the cowl onto the panel, cut it out, slap it back on there, and then we're going to design what we're going to bead roll on here. We'll be able to get rolling. About that.
I love it. I love that rolled edge, how it goes around. That really helps out. How about something with a V pattern here in the Corsa board? So that just makes sense to carry that on through. The letter V has been a design element on Caddies as long as I can remember. So on Earl Campbell's 49 Cadillac, we're putting subtle V touches everywhere, including the firewall. I think it'll play in all together with the whole design of the engine compartment. I think something like that. You know, of course, we want to lay it out a little better, a little more square, but...
Oh, you want it straight?
Yeah.
I removed the panel from the firewall, and all I'm doing is straightening out all the lines that we rough sketched in here, make everything even all the way around. I'm going to draw me out some straight lines that I'm going to follow with the rolls on the bead roller. Little tip. Take your time, roll it slow so you can follow your line straight. You roll it too fast and you get a little wiggly, you'll see it in your roll. So you gotta have some patience. If not, we gotta start all over. I think that looks pretty damn good. And we're ready to tack this thing in place. An original Cadillac symbol, meaning V8, fits the car really well, especially having this nice LSX 454 in the engine compartment. Make it feel at home.
Not every build that comes through here is going to be for someone as famous as Earl. No matter what the build, we always put in the same passion and talent. Because of that person, their build, big or small, is the most important thing in the world to them. You know, when a white Sprinter van pulls up to the shop, you automatically think you're getting a package. But in this case, it's going to be a very important build. You know, we're super busy right now. But when Dave and his family called me out of the blue, I told them to come on over, I'll take a look. How you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself? Doing good.
What's happening?
Thank you, Mr. Bill.
What y'all got going on today?
Well, last September, I bought me a 2017 Mercedes Sprinter, and it is very, very difficult for me to get in. I come from a motocross background, started when I was 4 years old, and at the age of 31, I was out at Three Palms, and came up short. Actually, didn't come up short, I just went over the bars, and that was the end of that.
So that's what put you in the chair?
That's what put me in the chair. The end goal is from a seat.
And what you need is it down on the ground so you can get in and drive this thing.
Absolutely. So the way the van sits right now and as high as it is, it's too difficult for my family to be putting me in and out. And so it's, you know, it's time. It's been 16 years and it's time for me to drive myself. I've searched around quite a bit, took it to several different shops, was asking about putting it on bags, and they told me it can't be done. They just said they don't do it when I asked to drop it. And here I am.
We were told no so many times. And Dave Jr. said, hey, Dad, I heard about this guy. I think he can do it. You're in the right spot.
I hear you. Like to hear.
I have friends that race. I love off-roading too. You know, of course, when you hear a story like this, you just want to get in and help. You know, anything we can do to make his life better, we're definitely going to do it. I see these Mercedes Sprinter vans everywhere. Because even though it doesn't look super cool, this 2017 has a super efficient diesel and it has tons of space to put whatever you want in it. Now let's check this thing out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely see the height here. You'd have to have a 20-foot ramp to get up in this thing easily.
Yeah.
You need this thing down the ground so you can have a ramp go up in it.
A ramp would be nice. A ramp would be really nice.
When you're in it, you need that chair out of the way so you can pull up into
what I would like is for the front seat to swivel. You know, I don't want to drive from a power chair. Plus, I don't like it. It seems like it's just super dangerous to me.
We definitely got you on that.
That sounds great.
So you have a motocross history. You like cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We got to get rid of this delivery van look, man.
Yeah, it looks pretty much like a cargo van.
So what do you think about wrapping this thing, putting some cool wheels and tires on it, dropping it? This thing is going to look cool.
I just want to be part of the family, bud.
That's it.
Hey, if you can put one truck that high up in the air, I got faith that you can put one on the ground.
Oh, we're going to do it.
Dude, you're going to make me pass out, man. I have full confidence that these guys have it, and, I mean, I'm just ready. I'm just excited. I can't wait.
All right, man, let's go make it happen.
Let's do it.
Customize a lot of vehicles at the shop, but you know, a Sprinter van is definitely lower on the list of sought after vehicles. You know, customize some challenges. We got a work cut out for us for that, of not only serving a purpose to help Dave in his life to make it easier, but he wants something cool also. We do builds all the time at Extensive. We get them in, out every day. You know, this project right here is a little more special. I mean, this is actually going to change Dave's life.
Why do you have a delivery van?
job fixing the delivery van. Customer's name's Dave. You know, he had a motocross accident, so he's in the wheelchair. So what we're going to try to do is give him that freedom, independence back to do what he needs to do, but it needs to look cool too.
Yeah, we can take care of that. It's our business.
That's it, man. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some air suspension on this thing to drop this thing down to the ground. So we're going to pull out the leaf springs in the rear, you know, clean all the axle off and build the 2 links for the rear. Get it super low.
No doubt.
Same with the front. Put in all the new compressors, tanks, the whole 9.
So we're trying to give him something else back that's a lot of fun that he can do on his own and have a good time.
Exactly. Not only to the van. So we're going to install a wheelchair ramp that shoots out the side of this thing. Dave can ride right in himself and do his thing. Once we figure out the ramp situation, the next thing we're going to tackle the custom driver's seat. So he can put himself in the chair, spin himself right around, go on about his day, and have that independence back.
Super convenient. So you going to stick with the smuggler look, the all white, or are we doing something cooler?
No delivery van. No, we're going to definitely, you know, it's got the motocross background. He needs to have that cool feeling of riding around also. So we're going to start out wrapping this thing, and then we're going to finish it off with some really cool wheels.
Awesome. It's a little bit out of the ordinary, but it's going to be pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Well, I'm ready to get started on this thing. Let's get it on the 2 posts. Knock this thing out, man.
Sounds good, man. You know, lowering this van to the ground is going to look awesome. So we're going to change up the rear suspension on this van. We're going to change it over to a 2-link. So I'm going to take these leaf springs out, the shocks. But I'm going to start stripping this stuff off and get to business. All right, now I got all that taken apart. It's time to get these leaf springs out. We're gonna need as much space as, now that I have everything out of my way, I'm gonna take this little 1/2 inch out, and that's a 1/2 inch lower that we're gonna be.
This van has a steel unibody, which means the frame is built into the body. Luckily, we have just enough room to fit the air suspension, so we don't have to cut notches, which is cool. It saves us a lot of work.
We got the big springs out of the way. That's going to let this thing sit way low to the ground. You know, we're not going to cut the floor, not going to do a C-notch, so we're just going to set the axle right on the unibody itself. So it's going to be super low and have perfect angle for that ramp.
Is that a 22 going on here? 24.
He said 22.
It's really getting a 24, bro. Dog, man, it's freaking huge.
It's not every day we get to work on a 2017 Sprinter, but also it's not every day we get to change someone's life. Putting this van on air suspension is going to get Dave that much closer to driving.
Since the sheet metal on these rear tubs is so thin, it's not as solid as we like. So we're gonna add some structure into this thing. We're gonna brace the frame, brace the bottom of the floor, and we're also gonna put a little plate here. We can through bolt it. Everything's working with each other here. Nothing's working against each other. It's like with as much weight as it's gonna be carrying and the load and the sway and everything, it needs to be structurally sound. I came at the perfect time.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Thank you, buddy.
There you go. You can go ahead and clean them up.
It's hot.
Watch out.
What I'm doing is trying to get this 90-degree angle right on the money. And then the next one, you just hammer down on the pedal. And it doesn't work for you. Perfect. Back to the van. So right on the money. That's exactly what we wanted. Now we can punch some holes in this. Connect the dots, and now we're one step closer to having the rear suspension built. Now that we got our plates made, you can see everything kind of coming together. And we can through bolt it to the inside of the cab, put a backing plate on the other side, and you get a little bit more structure out of it that way. Over the years, we've been known for, making kits for just about any application, any car, any truck, anything like that. But when we have builds like this or just one-off builds, we typically build, we could easily go pull something off the shelf and throw it on here and just make it work. But later on down the line, you might run into a problem. So I like to just literally make every part and piece for every single vehicle that I build. That way I know 100% that it's perfect for what we're building it for. Beautiful. Love it. And that's lunch.
And yoga has started. Now that John's finished fabricating the engine bay on Earl's 49 Cadillac, he's going to move into the cab. So what we're going to do is continue to firewall back over the transmission. So I'm making a trans tunnel. I'm going to make a template of how I want this end of it shaped. I never took art class, but instead of doing schoolwork, I was drawing in all my notebooks. Now we can get the end of that tunnel shape and make it flow into the floorboards. Pretty close. Now we got a whole lot of cutting to do. When you're hand building something, you're building it in place and oh, that'll work. You know, everything's made to fit. First piece in, I got about 2 more to go. I know Earl's not gonna mind what his trans tunnel looks like while he's driving this car down the road, but this thing is gonna be built like a tank, and I'm sure he'll love it as much as I do. Our next step in getting the floor sheet metal put in is mocking the rear end up. You know, this thing's got 600 plus horsepower, almost just as much torque. So we need a rear end that's really going to stand up to all that. So we got a fabricated 9-inch. Then we can build our drive shaft tunnel around the mocked up drive shaft. And then we'll start building the floor around that. Now it's time to cut our center section out of our floor. Let's see if we can do a straight line. Now we can put our drive shaft tunnel in. Now we got the tunnel in. Pinion angle was set. What I'm going to do is bottom out that axle so we can put our new inner tubs in. I love adding style in a place you least expect it. You know, that's what a full build is. John's finishing up the metalwork with as many design elements as possible in the rear of the 49 Caddy. You know, when taking apart these old cars, sometimes you gotta use your head, not only to do it right, but to hold the parts. What I did here is I got me a piece of pipe that'll fit in this axle hub, and I cut me out a piece of flat bar about the height of the tire. What I'm gonna do is use this, make me a perfect circle of where I need to cut to put our new tub in here. Now with this all opened up, move on to the other side and get that cut out. Since we had our rear end bottomed out, we know what our very top needs to be. Now we need to figure out how wide it needs to be front to back. And now we could do that same thing we just did at that height, and we will get a perfect arc at an 18-inch radius. This is all coming together real nicely. We got our fenders put back on, got them all welded out. Now we can cap the inner tubs and get our notch cover built. A custom car. You know, this could have been a flat panel, and what would we have done? You know, undercoated the car or something, lined it. But now that we have this nice little design, it could be painted glossy and it would look good. You know, it's just a little added touch to doing something that's worthwhile. One challenge we got is the notch has 2 crossbars from frame roll to frame roll that bow like this. So what I'm gonna do is make a template to that contour and get that template transferred onto a piece of sheet metal. I'm gonna draw me some designs and bead roll it to match what we got on the firewall. See how it looks. Would you look at that? Man, that looks real good. For Dave, these airbags are going to lower this van, and it's totally going to help out for this ramp we're going to install. He'll be able to drive for the first time in 16 years. It's a total game changer. Wrapping it up, huh?
Yeah, you came in at the perfect time.
They always come at the perfect time.
Looks real good. Thank you. All the suspension's done, huh? The line's done, electrical's done.
Yeah, dude, I got everything mounted, tucked up in here really nice and together and not all over the place. Usually we jinx ourselves saying, it's going to happen.
We gotta have one easy every once in a while, right?
They can't all be difficult all the time, huh?
No, they can. Well, cool, let's get the wheels on and get this thing on the ground, man. Let's see what it looks like. Cool. And then we'll start working on the inside.
Yeah, buddy. All right.
All right, Ryan, let's drop this thing down. No more delivery van, right?
Nah. It's right
it looks
there
cool
on the
too.
mud flaps, man.
Right?
It's sick. Until we get them wheels on there, it's gonna look good, man.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's get this thing aired up. Let's get it on a drive-on lift so we can start building the ramp on this thing.
Sounds good, man.
The ramp needs to be installed flush with the floor. So Ryan's got to make an opening for it.
All right, so I used the framing square just to find out where my door was. We know here is our door. We're not going any further past this point. Here's the center of the actual opening of the door and everything we got. So we have this much room to work with. Our deck is 41 and an 8. So within our parameters, we have a lot of room to work with, which is really good. Just triple check your measurements, because we're about to cut the entire floor of this thing out. All right, now that I have all my lines done, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this whole section out where our ramp is gonna go. All right, so you can see from the inside here where our lines are, where they're coming down. We're already planning on reboxing this whole entire frame since it's a unibody, and we're gonna plate the side of it and then cap the top off once we're done and have everything bolted in where we need it. So just to get this whole center out of the way, cut this whole top section out, and then we have a wide open area we can work with, full measurements, and do what we gotta do. It's loose? Yeah, it's loose. It's not heavy. Got it. Yeah, I got it. I'm done. So now I got this big hole in the middle of this floor. I want to get the ramp in here, and I want to see exactly what we're looking like. Hey, be careful on the floor right there. See if you can hop down into the floor, onto the ground. This ramp isn't meant for this van. It's meant for like a tour bus. So what we're doing is trying to make this work for what we got, This is what we do. We're fabricators. If we can see it, we can make it happen. So what we're doing is, making it happen. And that's the job. That's what we do. I'm gonna make a channel that will go over the frame rail to cap our frame rail where we cut it in half and stitch all the way down the frame rail and work our way. We're gonna have to brace all this up, make a mount for this thing to actually sit on, and put some structure back into this van. Now we got the main structure tacked into place. We got our frame rails boxed in, and we got the actual track that our ramp is bolted to. So really all that's left to do now is weld this up, patch some holes up, and we'll be ready to wire it up and test this thing out.
We're going to make as many parts as we can for Earl's 49 Caddy right here in the shop. However, there's a few parts we need. So when it came to the radiator, we had to have one specifically built for this job, in the shape of a V, of course.
Front of the car is exactly what this thing needed. Get all this cut out and just continue to make the little V shape here.
Yeah, build a support around the radiator.
Man, I've never seen a V radiator before.
Yeah, me neither. That is nice. The bottom part of the core support, which comes out all the way to the front bumper, we're going to make that all one piece, and it gets welded to the fenders. This is going to be one complete unit now with everything welded together. We're ready to get our radiator mocked up. We got these side pieces tacked in, which is going to isolate where you can only view the radiator. Got that nice radiator in there. The edges need to look good too. We're going to start forming this top part of here. So it's all one piece and structurally strong. And it looks damn cool. It got a really nice fitment right there. Now what I'm gonna do is get that excess off. Now I got these pieces fitted in here pretty nice. Then we're gonna run us a couple bead rolls on these panels. Kind of liven it up a little bit so it's not just so flat. Looks pretty good. So what I did here was I started off with maximum pressure here. And once I got to this line I drawn, which is 10 inches away from the edge, I started slowly fade out look instead of just a hard stop. Man, them lines match up perfectly. Little flavor to the front end here. Man, now we got this whole front end pretty much done. Got the grill fit in here perfect. This thing is looking really, really good.
Today's a milestone in the 49 Cadillac. After about 3 months of metal work, it's finally rolling over to the body shop.
From where it started to where it is now is a huge difference, and it's a good feeling seeing it come from the fab shop, finally going to the body shop, they can start the body and paint.
We got the ramp working on Dave's 2017 Sprinter van, but I definitely can't let it leave the shop in the delivery van white. So John and Jose wrapped the back of the van glossy black to make it look like it has a rear window, and they're wrapping the rest in a brushed black.
So the next step now is putting the razor wire on. As you can see, there's a tiny wire inside this tape. This allows me to get straight cuts whenever I put another overlapping vinyl on top. And once I'm never put a blade on it, I won't be able to scratch it or damage my gloss black window.
A lot of people come to us to go get color changes. They're bored of their existing paint job and they want something new. Or certain models like Ferraris or Lamborghinis, they only come a certain color selection. Well, some clients, they want to be unique, so they do whatever it takes. They come to us, we get it done, and they're happy. And when they get tired of it, we remove it. The resale value doesn't get affected. The original paint is protected underneath, brand new.
Now with the wire all pulled out, all we're going to do is pull out the green tape. And you can see the straight, perfect line it leaves behind. Perfect.
Well, let's go ahead and start getting these side panels put in.
Always love giving a vehicle back to its owner. But this 2017 Sprinter van is just a little something extra because Dave's just going to be that much closer to driving. So we're installing a swivel seat for easier access, new 24-inch wheels, and some red accents to match those wheels.
I haven't sat in the driver's seat in 16 years, man. And the day's here, so I'm pumped.
You know, a lot of people have their own style, their own customization, but here, you know, the customization just keeps evolving. There's not blueprints, there's not schematics to do what we do. Everything we customize here is specifically to that build. Two of the same cars could come in here, but when they both leave, they'll be totally different and totally cool. You know, that's why I like coming to work. That's why I love doing what I do, just to get tested. I get bored any other way. I gotta have the challenge. I gotta have the creativity, you know, to get in and create something with my hands, to make something just cool. You know, bolting on the same parts day after day, you know, that's cool, but that's not the definition of custom to me. You know, building it all back up with as many parts as you can by hand, that's the definition of custom. How you doing? I mean, it's always because we're giving this 2017 Sprinter van back to Dave, and I can't wait to see his reaction. Man, I know it's been a while. I know you've been waiting patiently.
When you're in this position, bro, that's the first thing you learn. Patience.
You ready to check this thing out? I know you guys are ready.
Yeah.
Ryan, bring it on in.
God, dude. Oh, man. This is beautiful, dude. You gotta be kidding me, man.
Fine looking.
You gotta be kidding me.
That's what I was waiting to see. That's
You gotta
cool.
be kidding me, man.
What you think, man?
Bro. That is something else. Whoa, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, dude.
Oh, man.
It doesn't look like that delivery van anymore, does it?
Oh, no, sir. That's why I brought it to you, Bill. There is nothing you can't do. It's overwhelming, dude. Seriously, man.
Because at first it could not be done.
Oh, man. We did it.
You did it. You absolutely did it.
You guys ready to check this thing out?
I'm ready to open that thing up and let me check that ramp out because I know we got a ramp inside the thing, dude. Oh, my God.
Check it out.
Oh, my God.
Man, buddy, that ain't just something you just bolt on either. We had to cut the whole floor of the van out, restructure everything, and then make everything mount back. So you have two sets of controls. One will control the airbags, front, up and down, back, up and down, and the center button right there operates the ramp.
Check it out.
Check it out,
Check it out, dude.
That's it, man. You think you can work with that?
Absolutely, dude. My power chair is going to have no problem going up in there. I'm just really stoked.
It was a first for us also, and hope you like it, man. It's pretty sick.
You know, once you're up in there, we have installed a swivel seat on the factory seat there, so
awesome.
And added some handles on there, so you can spin that thing around from the back and get up in it and do what you need to do, man. Go on about whatever you want to do, all on your own.
Dude, I'm speechless, man. Speechless.
You know, of course, we had to add some cool wheels and tires, too. This had to be made specifically for this van. If we're going to have some made, we got to have some cool ones made, too, right?
Oh, yes.
You know, after all that was done, we couldn't have the delivery van look. We had to have this thing wrapped. You know, John and Jose over at Pixel Works came in with a brushed black.
Beautiful.
And, man, that just really sets it off.
I mean, I can't believe the job you've got. I'm surprised your name isn't Copperfield, man, because it's magic, bro. It's magic.
I like to speak for all the guys at the shop. This is something special for us also. You know, not only a chance to do suspension on something that we don't normally do, a challenge of making the delivery van look cool, but to give you that independence back to really help you out in that aspect of your life. I mean, it's cool to be able to do for us also.
And that's what it's all about is independence, buddy. I'm stoked, man. Ready to get in this thing and go down the road. You guys don't get it, man. For someone like me, be behind the driver's seat again, or behind the steering wheel. It's overwhelming. I haven't been behind a wheel in 16 years, bro. 16 years, man. Oh, man, dude.
Man, you look good in there.
I feel good in here. I don't even know what to say, man, but thanks.
Man, I appreciate that.
Tim, what up with it, man?
What you doing out rolling around?
I'm good, man. You know, I'm just cruising.
How's the car treating you?
Man, I'm loving it, man. You already know I'm loving it, man. Hey, look, all that small talk. Real reason why we here. We heard y'all was over here trying to outdo the Mac. That's the truth. Y'all trying to shut
Man, I
the
knew
Mac
Raymond
down.
didn't show up to say hi. What's up, Tim?
We heard on the street they was up to something. We been hearing a few words on the street that they've been working on something special over here. We had to come check it out. We had to come and check it out. I know Bill was up to something. They was too quiet, right? I knew it too, man. Real deal, Bill. Hey, what's going on around here, Bill?
What up, man?
Man, what are you working on over here, man?
What you up to, Bill? That's it.
Look at him. That's a 40s Cadillac.
That's it. 49.
This is going to be crazy, man. I can't wait to see this, man.
You already know who it's for, huh?
Yeah. I can't, man. You know, we heard word on the street, so we had to pull up and see what was going on. Let me hit the club in this one.
So was this bad and slim? You know, this wasn't even a complete car when we got it. Man. It was just a body, a frame, crates of parts just crammed in.
Oh, you was going to rebuild it anyway, man. So it don't matter. You just that's what you do.
This is Earl's first custom car, so I really want him to just be impressed. You know, all around the bottom of this thing, all the sheet metal's all been gone through and straight. Built the new chassis from bumper to bumper on the front.
That's gonna be mean, man. What kind of engine you got up in there?
Man, LSX.
Wow. What is he gonna do with all that power?
Man, whatever he wants, right?
Earl Campbell's like stuff big, you know, you're running back. He running over people, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
All over the city in there, man. That's crazy.
I sure don't like that, though.
Man.
Hey, man, you put the V in there for the Cadillac?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You see that, Slim?
I see
I sneak that V on. You see what they did?
One of the coolest things about this car is when you pop the hood, John fabricated all the panels inside the firewall.
He thought we didn't see that.
Okay.
You gotta watch it, you know what I'm talking about? I seen that V right there. They wasn't gonna even tell her. I like Earl a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't like Bill that might be trying to take us out.
You know they gonna show him extra love because who he is,
I
man.
sure don't like that, man.
That's cold, boy.
That's all right.
What color you going, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Black on black, huh?
Black on black. Yes,
You had to have it.
2 black legs back to back on the freeway.
That's gonna be nice.
That's gonna be nice, man. You know Earl gonna let you drive.
Yeah, I sure hope he good.
I can't wait.
That'll ease the pain a little bit.
You know, the next step's the interior on this thing. And we really got some custom touches for him.
Oh, yeah?
Just really something special.
You hear that, Slim?
I can't wait
They're
to
not
see
telling
it.
that part. You
They
see?
got secrets. Well, let me know if you don't like it. I might come back.
Yeah, we for sure set the bar on Slim's Cadillac. But stay tuned, because we got some stuff planned for Earl's that are gonna go way beyond that.
We might keep out here to the street on y'all to see what's
Put 24 15s in the back of this thing. John's gonna build a crazy interior. Check this out.
We were a little fooled on this thing. What else it was doing before it got here?
It doesn't matter. This thing is just gonna be a game-changing badass car.
Damn, Bill, look at that. Oh, man.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Because my shop sits on the same plot of land where I grew up on the north side of Houston, I feel like my neighbors basically grew up with us. Some of them even became a big part of our team like listeners. And today, we're giving a build back to a fellow Northsider.
Growing up as a little kid, I lived in the neighborhood. I would see all these cool trucks just drive by my house. First thing you talk about is, hey, have you talked to Bill? Have you gone to Extensive? Check out what they're building next. I saw this Ram. First thing in my mind was, I got to drive this over to Bill, lay it out on the floor, some big wheels. It's going to be awesome when it's done.
What's happening, man?
What's up? How you been?
Real good, real good.
I'm ready to see this truck, man. I've been excited about it since the day I dropped it off.
I know you have. The new Dodge, and that's the first time we ever got one in, you know, with the new body style to put this thing on the ground. It definitely had some challenges. Hope this thing is nice, man. It's nice. So let's check it out.
Absolutely, man. Let's go. Oh, damn, Bill. Man, that thing looks sick. This thing's gonna turn heads no matter what.
This thing looks good.
This thing looks better than good, man. This thing is amazing. Golly, Bill. Man, that thing sits all the way down to the ground. You outdid yourself on this one.
Hope you like your truck, man.
Man, it's a dream come true.
It's all the way to the floor like you wanted it.
Absolutely,
man. That thing looks good.
There's a ton of work in engineering that makes a vehicle to day in and day out. We tore out all the factory suspension and just started over. We built new control arms, new tooling.
That looks sick, man.
Big 26-inch billet wheels with this truck sitting low. It just changes the whole look of this thing,
man,
right?
It's tucking that wheel like crazy, man. I'm surprised that you even got it that low for me, man.
A lot of work was involved to get this thing all the way on the ground like that. So everything on top of the wheel tubs all have to be relocated. So we went back and made nice brackets for everything. When you pop the hood, it looks like it came that way.
Yeah. Shoot, man, I'm going to be dreaming like a kid tonight.
I got some good guys. You know, I didn't do it all myself. Lulu stepped up and really took charge of this thing. And he built most of the suspension components on this thing and installed it, man.
Bringing it to you guys here at Extensive, I knew it was in good hands.
Were you ready to ride?
Absolutely, man. I want to get this thing on the road.
Well, man, have fun with this thing.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it very much, man. You and the team. Appreciate it, man.
Have fun. Let us know how it does.
The north side has been good to extensive. Of course, we take pride in every build that rolls out, but it means a little something extra when you see that build driving around the neighborhood. We just picked up a 1996 Impala for our customer of ours, Pete, and today he's coming by to figure out exactly what we're going to do to this thing.
What up, Pete? What's going on, Bill? How you been? Man, good. So you picked it up, huh?
It's a cool car, man.
Yeah, it is, man. It is.
The 1996 Impala was the car back in the 90s. Even today, they're highly sought after. Part of the appeal of this thing is it came with a small block LT1 V8, which packed a lot of power back in the 90s. I know you've been dreaming about this thing for years and years.
Yes, sir. I've been wanting to bring you a car for so long. I was about 8 when the car first came out. Just loved them. Everybody had them in my neighborhood. You kind of like grow up loving the car that you loved in your childhood.
So what do you want to do with this thing, Pete?
Really want to make this car a game changer. I want to have the baddest Impala out there.
You know, that's why you're here, right?
Yeah.
These cars have been around for, 25 plus years, and, people have been customizing them for 25 years. Pretty much everything has been done to these things you can possibly think of, but I got a couple ideas. Of course, we got to get this thing really low to the ground.
Oh, yeah.
24s all the way around, but not just that. A 2415 in the back of this thing. Just a big with a low profile, wide building wheel.
That's definitely going to stand out.
It's going to set this thing apart from every other Impala. To change the game, we got to change the frame. We're going to cut the frame off right underneath the back seat and build it from there all the way back to give these billet wheels plenty of room to go up underneath the body. Man, I love this car too in black. It fits it. So I just freshen up the paint, freshen up the bumpers, freshen up the lights, the hood. Let's get rid of that cow hood, man. That was a rage, 20 years ago, but we can't have that now.
Yeah, I know it.
Inside, no interior to this thing.
Yeah, well, I ripped it out a while back. Had plans for it and just really never put it back in. I was thinking we're doing something one of a kind on the outside, but why not do something special, fully custom on the inside?
Man, I got the guys for that.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
John and his guys will really get in this thing and just build you something just totally cool.
90s foundation, but with that 2021 look.
There you go, man. This thing's definitely going to be a game changer.
That sounds great, Bill. Let's make it happen.
In the 90s, this Impala was the car. This was every kid's dream back then. But now, years later, these kids are all grown up and wanting to go back and purchase their dream, going to be Pete's dream car. There's nothing cooler than that, to build someone's dream and to be able to present it to them. Pete wants to change the game with this car, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of most of the 90s modifications like the cow hood or like embroidery in the door panels. Just bring in the new style, the new look. The name of the game is Starting Fresh.
How to get started, huh?
Yeah.
Easy work right here.
Man, I've always liked these big body Impalas. Pretty much everything's been done one of these 100 times over, right?
Yeah, they kind of seem to look the same.
Oh, Pete, he wants a game changer on this thing, so we're going to do something different that I've never seen before.
This is never a good sign. This equals a lot of work.
Always a lot of work. All right, first things first, let's get the rear end out of this thing, the exhaust, gas tank, and just cut the frame off and front and back wheels back. We'll build a subframe, and then we'll tie it into the factory existing frame.
Okay.
And then we're going to incorporate air suspension in with it also.
Oh, wow.
We're going to put 24 tires, so it's going to be
that's a lot of tire.
So we're bagging this on the ground with a 16-inch wide tire.
The rear is going to be what, about this wide?
Yeah, pretty much. Ooh. If you see this thing parked somewhere, it's going to make you pay attention, right?
Definitely.
Totally change the game with this thing. Narrow the rear end, super narrow to accommodate and get really low to the ground.
We're going to tub this thing all the way over to here and tub this one all the way to here. You can delete the whole back seat.
John and the guys in the interior, I'm sure they'll come up with something cool to fill in that little space there. We already got a little head start. There's no interior, so we can just get right to cut. If you're gonna have a Impala, you gotta have a black Impala, right? Just keep it black. This thing's a 96 model, so it's showing its age, of course. So we want to go through the outside of this thing, freshen up the bumpers, new grille, the lights, make this thing look good. Ready to do this? Good. That's it. Tim and Jamie are tearing the suspension out and cutting the frame right behind the back seat all the way to the bumper. So we can build a whole new subframe that'll hold these big old 24 by 15 inch tires. Ready? Yep. 1, 2, 3. That's your rear frame. Before we make room for the big wheels, Julio's gonna take out the rear glass.
We gotta lose a couple of bolts that are touching the glass. After that, we're gonna start cutting on the glass. This is not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be an easy job. Whoa, look at that. Mr. Bill, I need to show you something real quick. I think I know why they're giving me a hard time. They put Bondo over it.
We were a little fooled on this thing. Back in the day, Impalas were out of reach for a lot of people, but we could get an old cop car for a third of the price you could for Impala. Just do whatever you got to do to get this out of the way, and we'll take it from there. Somebody obviously took a Caprice and tried to make it into Impala. Caprices were pretty much the exact same body style with very subtle differences. And one of the differences was the back quarter glass. The Caprice had a big triangle back glass, the Empus on the back. Caprice, Impala, shoddy craftsmanship, to say the least. You know, every build has a story to tell. Of course, some stories are just way more interesting than others. Oh man, that's definitely a bullet hole. In 10 minutes, we found out this thing isn't a real Impala, and it's been in a shootout. Bet that's not the only one in here.
Bad part or bullet hole?
Both. No telling what else we're gonna find when we start cutting on this thing, right? It's never fun giving a customer bad news. But old Pete, you know, he thought he was bringing us the car of his dreams. A 1996 Impala, but what he brought us was Impasta, a 1996 Caprice that looked like an Impala. I gotta break the news to him. Pete, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Bill? How's the car coming along?
We did run across a couple things I wanted to run by you. That's why I wanted to talk to you this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, we were picking at some body wear, and one of the things uncovered, not only a bullet hole in it.
I found a bullet hole in the car? Created that.
You know it. We also dug a little more, kept digging, and found out your car isn't an Impala. It's a Caprice. Somebody converted it, made it look like Impala when it's really a Caprice.
No, that was the thing back in the days. Everybody was converting them Caprices to Impalas.
Right. Before we got any deeper in your car, I just want to make sure you're cool with that.
Of course, I prefer to have an Impala, but in this case, I don't see that being a reason to stop this.
You know, I totally agree. No matter what it is, Impala, Caprice, it doesn't matter. This thing is just going to be a game-changing, badass car.
I already know.
This thing's going to be way better than before. And the way better than before version gets really, really low on those big 2415s. Building a subframe just on the back of this car. So from the ground up to where the tires would bottom out with the air suspension, and then back down to catch the back of the bumper. 13. You know, so we got our side profile measurements. Only thing left to do is drop this thing down, get some levels out on each side to know exactly how wide the body is.
What's up?
Dude, look at this.
No way.
You know we found the bullet hole, right?
Oh, man, that's a slug from it, huh? Damn. I wonder how long that's been in there.
It's like a 9mm.
Man.
Wow, we're hating been in the back seat.
It's been shot at. I wonder what else it was doing before it got here.
There ain't no telling.
Right?
Let's hold the level on the other side of the body.
Okay.
I'll hold it on this side. We'll get our measurement of exactly how wide this body is. Then we know how much room we got to work with. Right in the middle of the fender well.
Uh-huh.
When you let all the air out of this thing, it's going to drop way, way, way low. Basically, the tire is going to sit in the window jamb itself. So we can't be off an 1/8 inch. You don't want to have the tire rubbing the body, and then you'll have a big paint blister where the paint was heated up from the tire rubbing. This is 75.5. We got our outside dimensions established, so now we're going to come in from our outside dimension to where exactly the tire is going to sit, and we'll come in 2.5 inches. Then we know, with a couple subtractions, exactly how wide this frame needs to be. That's what we got. The frame needs to be 35.5 inches wide. We're going to be putting 24, which is huge for anything, much less Impala. This thing is wide. So that is the outer part to where the wheel mounts, 12 inches. To fit those big old 24 by 15 inch wheels, Jamie has to shorten the axle.
First thing I need to do is go ahead and drain the rear end before I start pulling anything else out. It's really important to keep all of the pieces right here together because there's shims in there. You don't want to misalign those shims because you'll start rubbing or wear your ring and pinion out. So what I like to do, so I know I don't mix each side up, is I'll make a punch mark. 3 on this side, 2 on this side, so I never get mixed up. So next thing I gotta do is go ahead and pull this bolt. It's gonna release this pin right here. Once I pull this pin, then my axle should slide right out. So the clips right there is what holds the axles in the housing. A limited slip differential is basically lets both axles move freely so you're able to turn corners without the tires chirping. Burp, 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 burp. Now this is out, so I'm gonna take out 8 inches on each side. I'm scribing the rear end to make sure it goes back perfectly the way it was. So scribing it like that, I can line up my mark to make sure the brake rotors are exactly clocked the same way. This is my last cut. Took 8 inches out both sides. Go ahead and bring it over the next side. Go ahead and weld it out. It's going on basically just like it came off, minus the 8 inches. I got everything squared up, lined up with my scribe mark. Basically, if this was out of whack, that would mean your axle would be crooked in there. That could wear out the bearings in here, the seals on the outside. So it's really important that this is perfectly straight. Everything's smoothed out. You can see my welds. Don't even look like they were over there before. Looks like it came like this from the factory. It's perfect. Our frame is going to be made out of 2x3 rectangle tubing, and we're going to lay that out on the table right here in exact measurements. Let's see what we got here. 45 degrees. Once we have our frame laid out on the table, we're going to make templates with our chipboard. Then we can take our templates right over to the saw. Bam, Timmy, it works good. We cut it 1 time and 1 time's on the money. Now we have all the puzzle pieces cut for this frame. They line up right with the lines we made earlier. Now we have them all cut. They have these little birds on them here. What you do is come back, clean them birds off, and we'll put a little bit of bevel on each side, so it'll make like a valley for the weld to sit in. What that does, it'll let the weld penetrate all the way through, and you won't have a bunch of welds sticking up on top. It'll actually bend down into the metal, make it look smooth, and be a good, real clean weld that gets all the way through. Timmy did a
great job fitting everything together. Everything looks 100%. That's exactly what we want. The gaps to fit perfect, beveled, nice, smooth, 45 degrees. Starting out with a good foundation, always 100% key. I've been welding a lot of years. So is my dad. So is my grandpa. My welding pedigree goes way back. Owning a custom car business, gets a little monotonous. Dealing with phones, emails, paperwork, all that really gets in the way of my true and creating. That's what I love to do, and that's what I'm going to do till I'm not around anymore. Timmy, even though this thing turned out being a Caprice and not an Impala, putting these big old wheels underneath that car, it instantly becomes cool, right?
That might even be better than it's a Caprice. There's some cool Impalas out there. How many cool Caprices have you seen out there?
No doubt. If you're a Caprice owner or if you're an Impala owner, you're going to be envious of this. Keegan, you ready for the day?
Yes, sir.
As much as I achieve personally, there's nothing better than riding to work with my son, Keegan. He pretty much grew up around the shop. He has his own hopes and dreams, but he's coming to the shop with me a couple days a week, just like my dad did for me. You're out of high school now, going to college, just coming in day here and there.
Yeah, I'm really glad to, finally do something instead of, of course, wasting my days away at home.
Hard work ethic, that's what I want to pass down to him. You're learning getting up every day, using that fire down in your chest. Set a goal, see it through all the way to the end, and do a good job.
No cutting corners.
No, sir. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Job one around here is making what the client wants. So we're going to turn this 96 Caprice right into the Impala that the owner wants, plus some. We cut the floor, installed a new custom subframe, and mocked up the suspension. So now Jamie's going to build the wheel tubs to fit those big 24x15s.
So you can see how big these tires are. It's a lot of wheel. In order to get this all the way up inside the wheel well, we're going to have to cut a lot of this wheel well out. So basically I'm going to bottom this out. We can actually see what we need to cut out inside of the car to bottom this big wheel up in there. Okay, so you can see I'm using this wooden block to kind of give me a guide right here. Just a quick little trick that I use just to trace out the wheel well to get the same dimension as the wheel here. I'm using an 1.5 inch block because I have an 1.5 inch space in between bottoming out on my rear end. That's my little step to get it in there. I don't want to overcut anything. Okay, so I got these spaces right here, basically 1/4 inch between my tub and my wheel so it'll never rub. I'm gonna go ahead and set my wheel tub on top. Got them mocked up exactly where I want to put them. Go ahead and pull these big old wheels off and pull my sheet metal to the edge of the body. Woo. So you can see the size of these tubs, the length of my arm. What I need to do is go ahead and add sheet metal to my tub to bring it out to the body. Just keep adding piece by piece, trying to get my rear quarters in first, then I'm gonna walk all my sheet metal this way, and then I'll tie in the rest in the rear tub. I chose to do it this way because trying to do this in one piece would be pretty time consuming, so I'm going to go with quick and efficient.
While Jamie's finishing up the rear tubs, John's going to get going on the custom door panels.
All right, looking at this door panel, it only has one line on it that I really like, and that's the separation between the top piece and the bottom piece. We're going to keep this piece that matches up to the strip it, cut it up, and work off of that to make the whole bottom completely new. Step 1, cut it. Step 2, make it better. We're just going to layer this up, make this 2 different pieces, put some lighting in it.
so I got all my pieces made. Start stacking it up. What we're going to do with this piece of acrylic, we're going to inset it in here so that all you're going to see is just this top edge of it here. It'll all be covered up. We'll have the LEDs buried up inside of here. It's just to give us a little detail in the door and light it up. Got them all stacked up, so the next thing we got to do, body work, is sit down and start sanding. Pretty much, we body work more than the body shop.
I don't move very often. I just sit here and do several hours a day, body working days at a time. I have no fingerprints left. This is what I do.
While Brian's over there in his world of bodywork doing his thing, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the bottom half of the door. I'm gonna start by making this base panel. Then from that base panel, we'll take our baffle and build that up from there. Get that chip out. All the door panels are laid up, everything's ready to go. So the next step we're gonna do, start laying fiberglass. After this, we go straight into bodywork.
Wheel tubs come up high, huh? Man, they are right there underneath the windows. That's a lot of tire to fit in there, but
yeah, man. We're making good progress at turning this 96 Caprice into a one-of-a-kind Impala.
You know, John's gonna build a crazy interior in this thing, and it'd be real cool to be able to have the whole interior flow all the way back and have all this open. How are we gonna do that? We cut this out, and John can build out all the way around it. You can see the enclosure. You'll be able to see all that nice and open. I don't think I've seen that before. It's going to be cool, man. There's nothing structural about it now, and so cutting this out is not going to affect anything. Just cut right on this line right here. Okay. And let's get this totally all the way to the hinges. There won't be another Impala like this. Nah, definitely not. So Bill just walked by and just glanced at this and just got an idea. It's pretty cool how he's able to just do that.
Removing the metal underneath the rear glass means you'll just see all the way into the trunk. All the custom box, speakers, amps, everything.
That's pretty cool, huh? It is. I think we could cut even more. Just cut this out. Yeah. I mean, the glass is right here, so yeah, plenty of lip. Might as well make it to there.
You know, I'm always pushing myself just to see what would make a build even better. It's definitely a blessing and a curse because it always adds time we don't have. But man, I don't want it any other way.
Looks good. I'm actually glad we ended up doing this. Just looking at it right now, it looks so much better. It's unique. I'm really excited about this car.
We finished the suspension and metalwork on the 96 Caprice. Before we roll it into interior, Keegan and I are going to get on this exhaust.
What's up? The last thing we got to do before this thing goes over to the stereo shop is exhaust. So you can help me do that and get you a little experience under your belt. Sounds good? This is cool. This is the lowest point. This shaft is not going to come any lower this way. We can put the muffler as high up as we can, super close to the drive shaft, and we're good.
I've been working here ever since I can remember. I've become really good at sweeping up floors and cleaning up around the shop and making it somewhat clean.
We have to go around this transmission mount here and then go all the way over and tie straight into that. We use this to give us a little angle instead of just eyeballing it.
It's always cool learning and working on stuff like this. Putting this exhaust together with my dad finally gives me a little experience under my belt.
This is what the angles we need here. Bend that, it should fit right on the money. You know, it's pretty cool to have my son up at work. Maybe pass down a couple things that my dad passed down to me. Stay on this side of it till the last minute when you can just reach over. Don't put your body on this side of the blade. It's a good feeling to be able to teach him a few things while he's here. If we build it in, that should fit on that perfect. Even underneath here, something simple as exhaust, you still want it to look good and be proud of what you do.
Of course. You wouldn't want to have a nice, beautiful car on top, and as soon as you put it on the lift, it looks trashy.
You did that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to work with your dad. Okay.
does that and it's tight.
You know, I used to hate working with my dad sometimes because we get into it a lot. Always thought I knew a better way to do it, which did.
Man, that'll work.
Got a nice little flow to it. Everything's tucked up underneath here. You know, the last little bit is just coming out of the muffler around, and then we'll dump it right here.
Oh, cool. So you're actually not going to see them at the back of it.
That's all it needs on this. And it's still having a real nice tone to the exhaust, too. You know, the closer you have the muffler to the end of the pipe, the more of a throaty sound. You know, this thing is super tight, so there's no way to really bend what we need to bend and make it clean looking. So what we'll do is use these mandrel bent pieces, and we'll chop out what we need and just build it piece by piece. I'm not going to force anything on him. If he loves doing this, cool, but I just want him to come to work and learn a skill. Look at that. Little jobs like this and teach him discipline, work ethic, that experience he can use, you know, for the rest of his life. Cut that one. This is going to be on the very end of the exhaust. Saw that, and then just make the identical right here. Everything's all mocked up, looks good. Everything's tucked up underneath there. Has a nice flow to it. You did good today.
So that's it. Thank you.
Now it's up to John and Brian to hand build that custom interior.
Back against my shop. Straight up. Straight. So here's my thought, man. What if we did 313s right here, mount them far enough back? It'll still give us the idea of that depth back into here, but we're going to have to utilize every bit of airspace. So the box is going to have to be modular. The idea to really make this thing a game changer is to cram as much bass in this trunk as humanly possible. So we're shooting for about 11 cubic feet of airspace to give us the proper output and a smooth bass response. Oh yeah. That's going to be pretty impressive from this side, man.
That does look kind of good.
I'm thinking let's do a window in the top of this thing. Right in the center, just something small, just so you can see a little bit of the motor structure in there, because the back of these woofers is going to be just as impressive as the sound on the front of them. But why not have windows in the back so you can see what's going on inside and show off a little bit of your hard work? Our pieces are probably going to have to be as wide as the bracing to hide the screws. So from the side, when you're looking, you don't see a screw sticking down through your filling. You can't just cut a hole and screw a piece of plexiglass to it. It takes a little bit more work than that. You got to have trim around it. You want to make sure it's nice and clean and neat. Short. We'll get that centered up, get that attached. If you're ready to start putting the top together on this box, we'll get all the rest of the pieces made on the back of this thing, man. We'll be good to go.
The four-door body on this 96 Caprice gives us plenty of room to build a badass, crazy interior.
We got the box in place, so what our next step is to make all the side panels that trim in over the wheel tubs and over all of the structure for the trunk.
Got some panels.
Do they fit?
I don't know. Probably not.
Oh. What we're doing right now is we're just going to get the base structure in place. Once we get the base structure in place, from there we'll take chipboards down to the wheel tub. That way it'll all be one big panel that'll slide out together. If everything was planned out properly and Brian did his part right.
Why are you going to blame me for it all?
Better you than me. We've got all our pieces in here, all of our chipboards done. So now we're going to go in and reinforce everything with some fiberglass and some resin. Once it's dry, we can pull it out, and this will actually turn this all into one panel from the top all the way around the wheel tub. Get it body worked on top of that, and then we'll see if it comes out like a glove. Watch. You broke it.
Not yet.
Well,
I forgot it. Look.
You didn't have to redo it. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
So what I'm seeing is we got to put all this in before they put the glass in. side. These panels worked out good. I'm glad they came out and didn't break. We don't have to fix anything. Yeah. So all we got left to do is everything else.
When this car was made, the defining difference between a Caprice and Impala was that side quarter glass. We cut out a couple of pieces from an old Impala quarter skin so we could turn this Caprice.
So I got a piece from another Impala. It's actually the proper window piece. Something that I need to pay attention to is a gap right here on the door for the window. So making sure this is in the proper place is very key. I'm trying to take this thing apart as easy as possible. So I cut out my panel. It's loose in here, but the spot tacks are still holding it. So I'm just gonna lightly chisel in between to separate the panels. All right. I have these lines marked right here because my window's got to fit right here in these holes. So I need to make sure that it's on the money. Really what I'm focused on is this body line right here. Looks good. I'm going to put a few tacks on it. Fit my window, make sure my window's good. This piece is exactly where I want it. My gap's even all the way down. That's money, man. We'll go ahead and continue welding this out. Kind of spread my heat out evenly so I didn't get any kind of warpage in this panel because that could happen real quick. Okay, so you can see we went from Caprice to Impala. Got the panel welded in there. Everything's ground down. Everything looks good. So now all we got to do is take care. First thing I got to do is go ahead and just cut out the metal around this hole. Believe it or not, this is not the first bullet hole I've patched in cars. I worked at body shops, restoration, stuff like that, and I've seen some older cars, you know, like Bonnie and Clyde, that have had bullet holes riddled in them. You know, it's still the real Wild West out here in Texas. So you see, got the bullet hole out finally. Got my other piece already made for it. Same radius. Same. Gonna make that bullet hole disappear. Take it to the metal doctor. Okay, so I got the bullet hole taken out, new metal put in, it's ready for a little body filler. Chain Master Texas.
With the bodywork being finished, this thing looks even better than a 1996 Impala. Edgar's painting it in a classic gloss black. Over in the interior, John and Brian are wrapping up all their hand-built parts in black vinyl and blue suede.
We have a good contrast of materials in here. We've got soft vinyl, shiny vinyl. We've got our suede. We got a lot of depth and some dimension to this. Check this out. Let's see. Oh, that with the lights down in the bottom pocket of the door, and the console, and the trunk. It's gonna look like a UFO at nighttime. Just a big black UFO with blue lights coming at you. I'm clear over here. Come down, and then back. Now that that's in, just a matter of following the puzzle and putting the pieces together. Get all three of the sub-amps in it. There's a glare coming off the top of this thing up here.
Must be nice to have a whole head full of hair.
It is. There's a little over 10,000 watts going in this car, so this thing ought to scream.
I never met my grandpa, but hearing my dad talk about his dad and how hard he was on everyone to get up, go to work, he definitely passed that down to my dad, and I'm definitely passed it down to him. You know, a lot of times I hated getting up, going to work with him, but now, you know, I really, really do appreciate, you know, my dad showing me the ropes. That's one of the reasons why I make your butt get up and come to the shop and, you know, learn.
Constantly learning, constantly getting better at anything you do is really important. No matter what it is, either sweeping the floors or working on my dad, I've definitely taken it no matter what I do.
Not only did my dad teach me a craft, but he also taught me how to be successful. You know, maybe one day he'll be able to pass down the tools for success. You know, put your mind to something, accomplish the goals, and do it right the first time. We don't want no kids anytime soon.
Yes, I know. I know.
Grandpa, yeah.
I know.
Long time coming. Pete's been dreaming about this Impala since the 90s, and today his dream is gonna come true. Pete said you wanted something cool, wanted to set this car totally apart from all the rest. I think we did our job, most definitely. We changed the Impala game.
What's up, Pete? Oh, nothing much, Bill. How you doing? Man, all right. Got that call from this morning. Sounded pretty excited. Yeah, man. Can't wait to see it.
That car came in, it was hurting. We were throwing for a little loop, halfway through the build, finding out that it was really a Caprice and not an Impala. But where we're at now, it doesn't matter. Caprice, Impala, you just got one cool-ass car.
Let me see it, Bill. Come on. Where's it at? Come on with it. Damn, Bill. Look at that. Oh, that. Golly. Look at them big old wheels. Damn. That's exactly what I wanted. Look at them 15s. They all the way in there, Bill. Man, when I saw that thing go down and just swallow up that back wheel, that thing looked ridiculous.
How we do, Pete?
I mean, I'm still trying to pick up my jaw, man.
First thing you see, man, those huge wheels sitting low to the ground and the 2415 on the back of this thing. Oh, yeah. In order to get it all the way down, we cut the frame off right by the back seats. It's all new underneath there. Air suspension, never the rear end. This thing, a ride and drive better than a brand new car.
Didn't doubt, Bill. But I seen it as a heck of a project, but he did it. I've never seen anything like that before.
We went through this thing front to back. New bumpers, new light lenses, new everything. Clean, man.
Clean. That all blacked out look with the billet wheels just sets it off. And I love the idea of taking the emblems off. I mean, to me, it's not even an Impala anymore, Bill. It's a 2021 SS.
Somebody ask you what it is, that's what you're going to tell them.
That's what I'm going to tell them every single time.
And what was in there was just tired. Yeah. So I just said, John, here, Pete wants this thing one of a kind, and he wants it loud.
We got a total of 5 amps in this thing. Wow. Just on the subwoofers alone, there's over 7,500 watts. When it comes down the road, it's going to be quaking. Brian got down with the custom door panels on this thing, really went over the top. We have an 8-inch, a 6-inch, and 2 Pro tweeters in each door.
You turn this thing up, it will actually literally hurt you.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to drive it first or hear it first. God.
You can do both of them at the same time. So all that's going on in there, check this out.
Oh, man. What?
Rear deck is gone.
I see that.
Bill cut out the whole deck back here. We got it all tubbed out. We got the clean lines running the door panels, all just flowing to the back of the car. Got it stair step down on those acrylic pieces with the lights shining in through. So when this thing is going down the road at night, it's got a blue glow coming out of it. Looks like a spaceship coming at you.
It already looks like a spaceship on the outside.
Check this out.
Oh, man. What'd you do? Put a motor back here?
That's the engine to your sound system right there, man. We touched every inch, front to back.
Man,
that crazy enough?
I'm in love, Bill. Love at first sight. Thank you, guys, man. This is everything I could have dreamed of and wanted.
Killed it. Looking in this car, seeing all that blue, black, the lighting, the crazy stereo. I've not seen another Impala like this.
Oscar Fury.
I thought this thing was solid. It's solid, full of holes and crap.
Too bad it's not the roof that looks like this.
I know. We're going to chop it off. It's called a Sling Ray. It started as a Polaris slingshot with 3 wheels.
I just didn't feel like it was finished right.
No matter how custom a car is, there's always something else to do.
Holy cow!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You might have noticed we had this 64 Lincoln sitting in the lot for quite some time. 4 or 5 years, I don't really know how many.
Well, numbers off this thing. I think I got this thing sold.
Really? See, I've been wanting to hear that for quite a while. It's one of those things. I bought it for a build, and it just never happened. So it never left. Man, I was beginning to think this thing was going to be here forever.
Well, it might not be going too far. I think our buyer's gonna want us to build it.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. It don't get any better than that, right? Make a little money on the sale, and then make a little money on the customization.
That is for sure.
These are always cool cars, man. I mean, the 64 Lincoln is just, it's iconic. Been itching to do some stuff to one of these for quite a while. There's so much you can do to these things. I mean, this thing's 20 feet long, and it's almost 20 feet wide.
20 feet of fury, but it's more of a boat than it is a car.
You're right.
Maybe put some propellers on the back or something, take it around the lake.
Hey, before you get too far, man, let's make sure you get this thing sold.
I'm not making any promises, but I'm 100% going to sell this car today.
I like that confidence, man. Let's see what you got.
Let's do it.
Somebody just walking around Sunny Drive, these old cars might not look like much. You know, I wouldn't keep them all around if I didn't see the potential of what they could be. The whole trick is to find someone that wants that project. Once you have that, it's really satisfying to bring these old cars back to life.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Hey, man, real good. Congratulations, you're the new owner of the 60.
Fantastic car. You know, ever since I rode in one about 25 years ago, wanted to get one of these, you know, a nice convertible Lincoln Continental ever since.
The one you bought is a coupe. It still has its top on it. You know that, right?
Can you guys help me with that?
So you wanted to make this thing a convertible?
That would be sweet, yeah.
Man, we can definitely do that. That'd be real cool. Just chop the top off, weld all the seams up, and just make it a convertible all year round.
All year round, yep.
Where are you located?
I'm outside of Boston, so we'll have to make sure it's got some heat.
We can definitely do that. How far are we taking it?
You guys can do your magic and make it something really, really custom, really sweet for me. I'd love to, you know, have a really nice street cruiser that goes fast and handles well.
And we definitely got you on that. First thing, put a modern engine in it with a lot of power, reliability, just something you can get in, hit the key, and haul butt with.
Oh, I love it.
We'll put it on air suspension, big brakes, big wheels and tires. Make this Lincoln ride really good, handle really well, and you're going to look cool doing it.
That sounds awesome.
Any preference toward any colors, anything like that?
To me, a Lincoln Continental, that vintage has always been black. And then in the interior, I think like a white.
Kind of like a junior mint.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Frank wants this full-time convertible, so one thing we're going to focus a lot on is the interior. That's a really, really important thing on any car, but especially build you something just totally custom and totally unique and just make this a piece of art.
All right.
Well, Frank, man, I know exactly what you want, and we're gonna make this thing happen for you.
All right, perfect. Can't wait to see it.
Talk to you later. You know, this job's like a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, it's really good to get this thing out of the lot, get it sold, but, you know, the other hand, I know exactly how much work is going to have to go into this. Every job has its own set of challenges, no different. You know, I'm really nervous. One of the things you dread most on a car this old, been sitting for quite some time, is rust. I mean, rust destroys everything. I mean, it's a New Mexico car, nice and dry climate. It should be pretty solid, but once we blast it, we'll know for sure.
Max, there's a ton of Lincolns, ton of them been done. What are we going to do that's going to be different?
It's not what we're doing, it's what aren't we doing. You know, I definitely got a couple concerns on this thing. First, you see the rust going through on the hood and trunk lid, right? That's definitely not going to bust. Looks pretty solid, but we won't know until we get it blasted. You know, the next thing, engine out of this thing is going to have brand new power plant. Yeah. We want that Cody in here. Put the Ford engine with the Ford body. Very cool. You know, keep it all legit. As far as the interior, everything completely out. We're going to start fresh on that. We really want to focus on the interior too, because there's not going to be a top on it.
Where is the top going?
The top's going in the scrap bin. We're just totally roastering, taking the roof completely off this thing, taking all the glass out and capping the doors and the deck lid. 100% no top all the time. That's awesome. You know, we got to make this thing low to the ground. Get this thing on air suspension, get it all the way on the ground, freshen everything up. 24x8s in the front, 24x10s in the back, new brakes, all joints, everything. Start 100% fresh.
Tell me we're going black.
You know, I totally agree with Frank. This car just needs to be black. Not just a normal black, not just a deep black. We're going to give it something that wakes it up a little bit. It's going to be cool. You know, the chrome just really makes this car. I mean, we definitely need to keep this on it.
I think it's mostly here.
Yeah, I think it's all here. Re-chrome the bumpers, grill. Man, it really stand out against that black. Awesome. First things first is getting some fully stripped.
We'll get some people. We'll get started.
I'm gonna go get a bunch of parts.
Ready? Ready? We'll take the trunk off and the lid off. I'll go get John, take all the interior out. Hey, we got the trunk out. So far, I'm pleasantly surprised. It didn't look as bad as I thought. When John gets the carpet out, it's going to be a telltale sign to see how the floor looks in this thing.
One of the challenges with these old cars is everything's stripped out, everything's rusted. Nothing really wants to come apart. So a lot of times you just got to turn the bolts into liquid. You're just stuck to the floor. It's still standing here. That's a plus.
Surprisingly, it looks really good. This floor could have been a whole lot worse. Man, we're going to take all the 1964 off this car. We're going to make everything modern. Make everything handle better, drive better, stop better. So to do that, we need a clean slate. We're going to take all this old stuff, get it out of here. So now we get it blasted, it's going to be a fresh new start. We won't have to deal with 60 years of dirt, grease, grime. We can weld right to it, and we know it's ready to go.
Now go up. Up. Go.
Go down. Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah.
Whew. It was a lot of dirty work, but we finally got this thing all stripped down. The next big surprise is going to be when it comes back from blast.
Depending on how backed up the media blaster is, sometimes a project can take up to 2 weeks to come back. But other times, like in this case, it's the next day.
And it came back from blast. That side doesn't look as bad. I want you to look at this side. It looks a lot rougher than when it left. Especially, I don't know what's going on here. You're speechless?
Man, I thought this thing, you know, was solid. It's solid, full of holes and crap, right?
The paint was all faded. You would think over time you'd start to see stuff coming back through it, but it was well hidden.
Man, very well. The other side looks decent. The floorboards look decent. Everything underneath looks good.
Yep. Too bad it's not the roof that looks like this.
I know. The roof looks really good. We're going to chop it off. Well, we got to do what we got to do now. We're already too deep in this thing to do anything about it. So we'll just replace the fender. Probably going to replace the quarter. Let's get it. You know, you always hate it when a car comes back from media blast and it's in worse shape from what you thought. The 1964 Lincoln is a lot worse. Luckily, Max sourced some old replacement panels. That way Jamie can get busy and get them replaced.
This thing's pretty much beyond repair. I mean, all the Swiss cheese down here, these ripples into the door jamb, and then we come to the front right here. This is pretty much the same story. It's too far gone. We don't want to put any metal like that back. So best thing to do, go ahead and cut this off, skin this with a new fender, and send it back to the body shop. Let's get started. All these little indentions are spot tacks. I'm gonna have to drill everyone out. So cue the time lapse. Spot tacks are just about out, so we'll go ahead and score a line right next to this door to make it easier to go ahead and get these leftover spot tacks out. Just a quick cut with a cutoff wheel, and we'll have this panel off. This was on another car a week ago. Just an old 64, 65 fender. I always like to use original parts instead of like a repop. The new metal is a little bit thinner, the old metal is a little bit thicker and stronger. on this panel, there's a chrome trim piece right here. If I don't bleed even, you'll see a gap on the chrome. So it's really important that I clamp everything right where it needs to go. In the old days, this is how they did it with the spot tabs. Nowadays, they glue panels together. I mean, I don't know. I've seen glue come apart, so you'll never catch me using a glue gun. It's always going to be a welder. Okay, that one's in. Everything looks good. Go ahead and move on to the back now.
I look up, I've been wanting to see this thing for quite some time. It's called a sling ray. It rolled into SEMA a couple years ago. And man, people haven't stopped talking about it since. Tim, what's happening?
What's up, Bill? How you doing, brother?
Man, all right. Man, I finally get to see this thing in person.
Sure do, man. What do you think of it?
Man, it's crazy. But finally seeing this thing in person, it's amazing. I mean, it's a work of art. It started as a Polaris slingshot, which is an auto cycle with 3 wheels.
We basically turned it into a 4-wheel conversion instead of 3 like the typical.
That's unbelievable.
Dropped in an LS3 with a stage 2 Whipple. And of course, we did this crazy exoskeleton to match Corvette ZR1. 650 plus horsepower, a huge sound system in it, and it's all on air ride.
Crazy.
Big adult go-kart.
This is the kind of thinking that I like, just totally out of the box. So what brings you by, man?
A couple little things that, when I got the car back, basically just weren't complete. I just didn't feel like it was finished right.
I totally get it. No matter how cool, how custom a car is, there's always something else to do.
The engine bay over there, there's a lot where you can see the wiring and everything else, that we needed like some kind of like sheet metal or something, that cool cover plate.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Big void right here. You can build a sheet metal panel, give it some bead rolling, make it look really nice. And the filter, man, yeah. It definitely needs something else on there for sure.
Started on the filter. I can always tell who the haters are because that's the first thing they talk about every time they look at this car. Everything else in this car is completely custom, so I think that should be too.
I might just have to test drive this thing, personally, and just make sure the suspension is right, the engine's performing right, just make sure everything's right for you.
Of course, man, whatever you got to
look out for you.
Oh, I know you're looking out for me. I'm sure you want to take it for a spin to get that, get the feel for those compartments.
Yeah, I just got to make sure,
Oh yeah. I totally get it, man. Of course, take it for a spin.
Looking at this, it's just a tease.
Man, I've been seeing this thing on the internet. I didn't think I'd see it in person.
Come on, man, let's go check it out. When you see a car like this, a vehicle like this, you gotta get behind the wheel and just feel it. This thing is great to drive. Handles good, rides good. It's got unbelievable amount of power. That's exactly what you want, driving something like this. I can totally understand the obsession of getting this thing 100% right and 100% finished. Everywhere you go, it draws a huge crowd. Everybody wants to talk to you about it. What I'm to ask is, how come this isn't finished right here? When we're done with this, there's not going to be a reason for that guy to say one word.
So what are we doing to this thing?
Everything has been done to this thing, which is everything.
Yeah.
Once you have a project done like this, there's always that 1 or 2 or 10 things that you see that nobody else sees. Once you see those things, you can't unsee it. You're just fixated on it until it's fixed. Of course, one of the things is the air filter. This thing is way too cool to have something that uncool on it. The next thing, it's got a couple little pockets in the front, little factory, little voids where you see down in it, just looks unfinished. We're going to fabricate custom panels on both sides of the engine to hide all that wiring. And then we'll color match them with 2-tone paint.
Clean it up real good?
Yeah. It's really cool to get a project like this in the shop, even though we didn't build it. It's good to be a part of it. Without saying, because you can see right into the engine. The look of the covers are fine, so to go over with the overall flow of the sling ray.
Basically, I'm gonna start out with a blank chipboard. And I'm gonna scratch out a couple designs, see if I can get some things to work and fit around these areas, make it something you want to look at instead of something you look away from. I'm just getting a rough outline. I'm gonna see how I can tie everything in together to hide as much of these wires, these canisters as I can, because it's not very nice to look at. It's time consuming, but it's definitely necessary. See how much better it ties in already? That's already looking a lot better. As you can see, it's not just a flat piece of metal. It's got a lot of shapes and bends and contours. It's busy. I'm gonna have a lot of little tricky details on this one little panel, and I also have to duplicate this to the other side, which makes it even harder.
For most car guys, the Sling Ray is almost a perfect build. But even then, there's always one more thing. So right now, Jamie's making some custom panels to hide all that wiring.
So now I got all my pieces right here, taking the tape off, kind of just breaking them down into flat panels, try to space put them wherever. Once I do that, go ahead and cut it out, and then I'll start shaping it. So rather than making another template for the other side, go ahead and make my template out of the copies that I just cut out. It'll just be mirrored, flipped. That'll be my other side. So this is my passenger side, this is my driver's side, this is the side I made my template from. So I'm gonna take my template, mark both panels out at once so they're exactly the same. I put the same bins, the same roll, everything in it at the same time. All right, let's cross fingers. Take your time to do this. You can't just rush this. This has to be planned out. One wrong bend and you might as well throw the panel away. You can look at it right now and see that everything's exactly the same contour, but my bend right here connects right to my bend right there. This first one, now just a couple more left to go. Pretty happy with the shape. I'm ready to tack everything up. Pretty happy with the way this is starting to look. So all I need to do is mirror the other side, then I can continue on forming on this piece around the edge.
We made real progress on the suspension for the 64 Lincoln. We tied the two links directly into the existing unibody.
How's your chain link look? Parallel or what? Looks pretty close right here.
We're buttoning up the bag mounts, and then we're moving on to turning this into a roadster.
Go ahead and tack it on the corner, just like you did on the other side.
You know, being here at Extensive working on these Lincolns, it's always cool to be able to put these parts on and see it all come together, and once it drives out and you see it sitting on the ground, it's pretty awesome.
Before you just go chopping a top off, it's critical to reinforce the body first. This whole Lincoln is a unibody car, so that means there's no frame underneath this thing. The body itself is super rigid and doesn't need a frame, but we just can't cut the roof off or the whole car just bend in half, right? So what we need to do is cut 2 inches out of here and put in 2x4 box tubing in it. So this thing is really, really, really rigid. Let's get it, man. Once you get on that side and just kind of replicate what I'm doing on this side, we'll knock it out. Okay. Straight as you can, right on the outside of the line, because it's going to be a lot easier to put the tubing in and out with it not being right on it. But you don't want to get too far out, because that's the bigger gap we have to weld up, and that just takes more time. Once that's out of the way, we can see what's under and see how much farther to go.
That's good right there. From underneath, it's one piece of metal that just curves around into the floor. So I raised it up to get a better angle with the cutting wheel. That'll be way easier than doing it from inside the car.
Yeah. Like a glove, pretty much what we have now is a frame for this thing. That tubing is going to hold the majority of the flex and weight of this car.
It was a pain, but we got it done.
Well, you ain't done yet. You got the other half to do. Let's just get one side in at a time to make sure this thing doesn't buckle and bend and twist.
finish getting these tacked in, I'm gonna go ahead and weld them out. These welds are gonna take a while. You don't wanna stay in one spot too long and have it eat up and distort the metal, so you gotta jump around and make sure it's done right.
Got this piece without a roof. The door frames will lose their structural integrity, so I made a support to put the strength and rigidity back into it. Everything looks good. You got everything welded in nice and solid. It's a lot of welding, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Now I got this for the pillar. That's going to keep everything nice and strong. Make sure these doors shut the same way as before when we had the top on it.
All right.
Man, you're doing a great job.
Thanks, man.
Because the Lincoln's not going to have a roof, the interior is going to be that much more visible. With that in mind, John and Brian are getting after making one-off door panels.
Oh, what you got there? Man, I come with breakfast tacos and dreams.
Okay.
So, my idea, instead of just a pleated panel, wood pleats. We'll take this board and cut it down to be about 3/8 of an inch thick, and basically cut the pleats into the wood.
I see.
Do a pearl white on top of this so the grain really pops out on it.
We carry that throughout the vehicle. That'll look really cool.
I know, that's why I was kind of like, got it. That's what we're gonna do. But first, taco. Now I got them cut to size. Next thing I gotta do is cut them in half the long way. Get them 2 pieces the right thickness. We'll run them through the planer, get everything smooth, nice and neat, and then we'll cut our pleats in it. I've set up a fence on the table saw. I want 1.5 inch wide pleats, so cut me some 1.5 inch wide strips. Follow the fence, make the first cut, then I'll stack one in, make another cut, another cut, another cut. Each time I put one of those in there, it moves me 1.5 inches over, gives my spacing evenly all the way across the board, so we get all these things cut and we'll be looking good. All right, so with that done, as you can see, we've got our pleats all the way across here. Everything's cut, they're nice and even. So the next thing we'll do, clean up the edges, and they'll be ready to stain.
Hey, all right, let's go.
We're adding a lot of power to the 64 Lincoln with the brand new Coyote 5.0.
435 horsepower of fury.
Down.
Like it's supposed to be there.
Now that we finished the air suspension and reinforced the body, we can get going to turning this thing into a roadster.
We're gonna do a one-weather car?
Yeah, there's no putting the top back on after this.
Much idea.
Cheers. We'll chop down low right here, and once we cap this part of the door, all this flows together. You know, if you open the doors, man, it'll look nice without that indention there.
That's gonna be a clean body line right there. That's gonna look slick.
After we get it cut, we'll have the doors open all out of the way, and if we did our job right, the doors shut back in the right spot, right?
Everything braced up super solid. I mean, I don't think it's gonna move at all. It's not going to move at all. I'm about to cut this piece out right here. It's gonna be below our doors jammed, so it's just gonna fade right on in. You'll never see it. Got the front half pretty much cut. Now I'm just gonna go on this line right here. That's it.
You got it?
She's loose.
3 feet.
Oh, yeah. Got a little splinter. Good. Ready. All right. Got a hard top for sale. Whoa.
Let's see if the door's shut.
All right. Look at that.
Looks good, man.
I think they should have made them like this.
Should be a factory option. The custom filler panels for the Sling Ray, they're all welded out. Now it's time to add some colors.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, just checking this thing out. Jamie just did a really good job making the filler panels for this. Next step, get it all color matched, making it look good. I don't want it to stand out, so I want this wrinkle black so it all matches everything else. Paint this the silver to match the little trim on the side.
Make a two-tone and match the texture and the color at the same time.
Yeah.
It's gonna look sick, man.
Yeah, let me know when you get done with it.
All right, man. Bill said he wants it a two-tone. From right here, over here, it will be base coat, clear coat, so it will be all gloss. From right here to this side, it will be all texture to match the rest of the car. I'm gonna have to cover this whole piece right here and pretty much leave this wide open. I'm showing you why I'm using this kind of texture is because it's actually real close to the texture of the car, so it'll match really good once this whole thing's done. It's gonna look real nice.
Now Jamie can get the new intake in. Yeah, it looks good. And we're ready to give this right back to Tim.
Morning, Bill.
Man, good morning, Tim.
Good, man. How you doing, dude?
Good, man.
You want them donuts? Nah, man, I'm good. I already had my coffee today. So I figured you didn't call me for donuts this morning, huh?
Might have something to show you.
Super excited to see it, man.
Why don't you just have your little donut, and I'll be right back.
All right. Deal. Sick. As soon as Bill pulled out, first thing I could look at was the engine compartment. Those new custom panels and that air intake looks awesome. I couldn't ask for anything better. Absolutely love it. Man, dude, looks amazing, man. I love it.
You know, Tim, when you came in, it looked unfinished to you. I mean, there was just a couple of little issues here and there that you can't unsee once it's in your brain. You got to address it.
Oh, right? Definitely, man.
So that's what we did. Got it in the shop. Jamie got busy pounding some metal out, forming those panels for you. Man, he comes through.
Yeah.
Always.
Looks so good. I actually was only expecting some flat sheet metal panels, maybe some bead roll on it, but they actually contoured the metal parts to where it actually looks like it's part of the car. It looks so cool.
After he hammered those out, shipped them over to the body shop, they do what they do. Made these things super slick, two-tone paint, and added a texture on the inside, so it looks like a part you would get from the dealership.
Dude, it does. It totally wraps up this engine bay, though, for sure.
Well, that and
the intake.
The air intake that you had on there, it looked kind of cheesy, but now it's just over the top. You guys replicated the body from a Corvette, so, just got a 2017 Z06 intake, made it just flow with the rest of it. These are definitely the jobs that, just the little tweaks here and there makes such a huge statement. Goes a long way with the customer.
Just wraps it all up.
Yeah, man.
I think this is now complete. Just go and drive it.
Hey, speaking of,
yeah,
I got something I've been wanting to do.
What is it, man?
Man, I always wanted to do donuts while eating donuts.
What?
Yeah, man. I've been thinking about this for a while.
You want to do it?
Man, let's do it.
I'll hold this.
All right. I like donuts. I like doing donuts. So how do you top that off? You do donuts while eating donuts. This is a great day. Got a donut hanging out of my mouth, rubber flying, smoke everywhere, Tim screaming. Doesn't get better than that.
I really tried hard to play cool. I was like, I'm done. Wow, man, that was wild. You're crazy.
Did I wake you up a little bit?
Just a little bit, man. Good idea.
We're painting the 64 Lincoln. Glenn brought Lewis in to help him paint the custom wood door panels.
So
what we've got here is oak, and it's a very grainy species of wood. So we're going to take the wire brush, and we're actually going to rip out all of the softwood to expose the true character of this species. You can start to see the difference on how the character of the grain is actually accented in the piece. All right, we got them all done. Now we just need to take them over to the paint booth, get some paint mixed up, and put some paint on them. Our base coat, you know, it's a brighter white. So what I've done is I've taken that base coat and added some of the pearl powders to it to get really close to the color of the vinyl that we're going to be using in the Lincoln. All right, so we got everything sprayed. We're going to let it dry. It looks really good. You can tell the wire brushing really helped to accent that grain. It's going to look sick, dude.
We're almost done making the 64 Lincoln topless. One of the last steps of the metalwork is capping the doors.
You know, I love the no roof on this car. Warm, sunny day. Definitely not going to need the windows to roll up. So what we did is bent some 20-gauge sheet metal, and we're going to cap the doors so you can just see smooth, custom lines and everything just flowing. And that's exactly what we want.
Same spot. Right there.
We put these bars across here. That way we know without having to get back and look at it that everything is 100% true straight. This is straight up against this tubing. It is perfectly parallel with that over there. You know, the way we do something like this is leave the panel that we made all in one piece. That way, when we're tacking everything in, everything is 100% straight. Once you get it tacked in, all you need to do is go back and make a cut where the door opening is going to be, and then you fine-tune the little edges, and where you know it, you got a cool custom cap for a 64 Lincoln. Look good. Let's go eat.
The dash on the 64 Lincoln was in really rough shape. But John and Brian, they have no choice but to make it work.
Well, as you can see, this dash looks terrible. So we checked a couple of places, and no one on the interwebs has one. So that just meant we fixed the one we got. Just gonna take a little bit of fiberglass putty, or get it packed into here. We'll get it all body worked out. Now, if that's done, the next thing we're going to do is start working on the defrost vent panel. We're going to mold in a speaker grill into that so we can put our speakers back in the factory location. We'll cut out a piece of wood. We'll just trace out our template. Once that's shaped out, a little bit of trim here to modify this factory panel so it'll fit in properly. Next thing to do, get it taped up, put it on the panel, get it body worked in. All right. Got everything worked out on the dashboard, looking good, body worked out, looks nice. The next thing we gotta do is wrap it. All right, so I got this nice white vinyl. Lay it up here, trace it all out, get our patterns done, and then sit down and sew it together. In order for this to lay out properly, we wanna make sure we take the time to keep this nice and flat. If we get any wrinkles in it now, when we sew it together, it will be sewing a wrinkle into it. Off to the side. Now what we'll do, get these things sewn together. When I was growing up, I always wanted custom cars. I knew I couldn't afford it, so I had to figure out how to do it myself. I ended up sitting behind a sewing machine. But it's just kind of a natural progression. When you get into doing interiors, you kind of expand what you do, and the sewing actually helps you out. You can build anything you want, because no matter what, you'll be able to cover it. I got a nightmare.
Well, it looked like a nightmare. How long is this thing?
About 11 feet. This is not going to be fun.
It's just so much material. You sure this thing fits?
I have a little bit of faith in my process. I don't know which worked. No glasses or clogged up glasses. So now that everything's glued, steamed, and in place, we're just going to take our knife, take a little patience and work our way around it, get everything trimmed out. And once it's all trimmed out, this thing will be ready to go in the car.
We We finished the bodywork for the Lincoln. Now we can get it into paint. The owner wants a high gloss black to contrast the all white interior.
Beautiful.
And now we can put back in the 5.0 Coyote engine.
That looks good on the nice black engine compartment. Yeah, it does. It's tight fit. Well, let's get everything else finished up so we can go for a ride.
We're adding some custom 22-inch wheels and tires, dash, door panels, and seats. And we even re-chromed the original chrome. Man, it's crazy to think this thing sat in our lot for years. And now it looks brand new again.
I've been in the industry for 15 years now. I've had the skills and the knowledge over the years, but it's just we've never had the workplace to be able to pull it off. But here, it's a whole nother world. John was actually one of my instructors years ago. As an instructor, he knew exactly how to build you out as a person to turn you into a fabricator. It's really, really cool to have that kind of friendship/instructor going on, and it still carries on to this day. John hit me up on Facebook, and he's telling me there's a position available. I definitely knew I could not miss this opportunity. I had to take this. Since it is the major leagues over here, to get this opportunity and come here and to be able to use my skills and advance my skills, it's a very, very amazing feeling to feel like you've got to the top. It was a mind rush to see how this place operates and watch the vehicles come through and the speed we're having to build at, but still have the freedom to be able to build whatever we want. And I never would have thought I'd be standing here looking into this camera.
Old Lincoln's finally done. It's pretty funny. Frank's on his way to check out his one-weather car, and it's cold and rainy. Been a staple in the parking lot for quite some time. From a diamond in the rough to a full polished show car. Always knew his car was going to get finished one day.
Hey there, I'm here for a Lincoln.
Frank, what's happening?
Hey, Billy, Val, how are you guys?
It's a great day to pick up a one-weather car, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is. I brought my rain jacket. I'm all set. You guys ready for me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I purchased that car years ago with intentions to eventually build it myself, but, you know, I've been kind of busy over the last few years, you know what I mean? Man, I'm finally glad we're able to take it in, get it finished up. We built you something really special, man, really cool.
I am ready to see it.
Let's go check
this
it out.
car.
Let's go see it.
All right. Yeah, man, I'm really excited to see this car. It's going to be fantastic.
Check this out.
Holy cow! Woo! That is... Out and saw that car. Oh my goodness, I was blown away. Just love at first sight. My wildest dreams, I had some ideas, but I couldn't even imagine anything like this.
All your buddies are going to be jealous.
Oh, they are. They are.
Frank, the rest of the world is going to be jealous about this car. You know, there's nothing like seeing a big old long car with a no roof sitting on the ground like this one. You can't tell how many hours and hours of metal work that went into it. You know, I thought it was a solid car. Once we got it blasted, came back, you know, it was way, way worse shape than I originally thought. So we had to end up replacing the front fender and the rear quarter and the hood also. Once we got the body straight, the fun begins. This car being, you know, a unibody, just cutting the roof off isn't that easy. So what we had to do is go in and basically built a frame inside the body of the car to make it super rigid.
Give it enough stiffness so it's not twisting all over the place. Yeah, that's awesome.
So once we did that, we were able to cut the roof totally off, and we went and capped the top of the doors, and then capped the whole deck. I don't think it gets any cleaner than this.
It feels like poised and relaxed, but at the same time like ready to jump, like a Black Panther ready to pounce.
Of course, you know, on a car like this, you gotta have it low. So that's what we did. All custom air suspension on it, set all the way on the ground. That just makes this car. Check out underneath the hood.
All right, let's take a look at the motor. Oh my God, that is incredible. Wow.
Right?
Fantastic. Beautiful.
You know, late model 5.0. You got about 450 horsepower under the hood now. This thing will get it.
Can't wait to get behind the wheel and try it out for myself. Yeah.
I'm glad you like this. I know you kind of already seen it, but check out the interior.
All right, let's go look at the interior. That is awesome.
This is one of the most important aspects of the car itself. When, you know, there's no roof,
That's one of the first things you come up and look at. You know, John and the guys, I mean, look, they
did an amazing job. It's incredible.
And you can see it looks really, really clean. They put wood in all the door panels, wood accents all throughout, and then painted it all white. So it looks like something that would have came in this car back in the 60s.
Yep. The interior of this car is incredible. The white finishes with the piping on the seats, the white washed wood, it's just clean and perfect. Blew me out of the water. You not only met my expectations, you so far exceeded them, I can hardly find the words to describe.
Each and every person in the shop helped out with this project. You know, I can't thank them enough.
Woo! That is awesome.
This car looks amazing now.
Bill, this is so cool. I love it. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Fantastic.
You're very welcome.